Oh, man. Jerk, we got the first winning second period of the season. We got the first empty net goal of the season for the Sharks. We get the first third period score of the season. Is that it? Should we just turn everything off, close that out? We're done?
Oh, are we live? I thought we were taking the week off.
I thought the Sharks were too.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's go. Hey everybody, welcome into a Pucknologists takeover of After Dark here on Teal Town, USA. Boy, oh boy, going into this week, I got to tell you, Jerkman, if you had said, okay, the Sharks, they're going to win 2 games this week, and they're going to face 4 teams. 2 of those teams only have 1 loss. The other 2 teams, they're 500. Which 2 teams do you think the Sharks are going to beat? And lo and behold, they beat the ones that you did not see coming.
Just as we knew all along.
I don't get this. I don't understand how this works. Anyway, show 168. Welcome back to the unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, commercial-free Sharks podcast that is the Pucknologists. This time around, we have a 4-game roadie in the tri-state area to cover, and more, of course. We got those reverse retro jerseys to get into in a big way. But remember, if you're new to the podcast, remember to subscribe and follow us on social media. If you'd like to help support the content we deliver and keep us commercial-free, you can always donate using the Super Chat option during the live shows, or better yet, use Venmo. Find us at Teal Town, USA. And as always, remember, if you are not able to join us live here on the YouTube and share your thoughts in our chat, make sure to add your take in the comments section below of this video, and hey, maybe give it a thumbs up while you're there. And as always, we're not here to change your mind. We're only here to give our takes. Sound good?
Sometimes we can do both.
Hey now. So, what up, everybody?
So,
what you got there? Thoughts?
I do have thoughts. So I feel I was thinking about this morning. So, I feel like every week, we start the show and the first however long, 60, 90, 120 seconds is, the usual pleasantries. How are you doing? How was your weekend? Did you watch the game? And
kind of why we're here, but yeah.
Yeah. But so I figured, in an effort to A, keep the fans on their toes, B, keep you on your toes.
Oh, crap.
And C, have some fun, a little enjoyment here.
I remember fun.
What's that? Never heard of it. I figured I think when we start the podcast, I'm just going to start saying things, ask you a question, come up with a question that I ask you or an idea or a thought. So this week,
oh boy,
this week, it is I'm going to call it the Tchotchke Corner.
Oh, okay.
Tchotchke Corner.
I was afraid you're going to invoke the 65 I will not mention.
No. We're going to get into that though. And I have a sandwich that I need you to eat.
Oh, really? We're going to go there.
Yep.
We're going there.
Right there. But no, so my question for you. So I procured a 1997 NHL All-Star Game, like Matchbox Zamboni thing.
Oh, cool.
And so my question for you to kind of kick things off here, are you team take the Matchbox out of the box because it looks cool, or are you team leave the Matchbox in the box because it's old and vintage and the box itself is cool as well? I want to know what team you're on.
Me personally, I'd probably keep it in the box.
Sure.
But if you happen to have 4 or 5 other ones that don't have boxes, then yeah, you'd probably rip it open so you can, display them all collectively on your shelf. It would look a little weird if one was still trapped in the packaging.
That's fair. I hear that.
Are we done?
Yes.
So coming into the week, the Sharks, they can't win at home, they can't win on the road, and they can't find anywhere else to play. I don't know. The Sharks, they're I don't know, maybe just a bad team. Didn't matter what continent they played on, although that's also falling definitely true for the Nashville Predators. Oofa. So it is a takeover of After Dark, so let's get into the Flyers game first. It's a 3-1 victory. James Reimer with his first shutout of the season. A little different tonight. We saw Bonino get scratched. I don't know if that has anything to do with the collision he had with LeBanc yesterday, but seeing it, or maybe it was just he felt bad for Gregor after being scratched for 4 straight and said, hey, maybe get Gregor in there. I don't know.
You know what? I know there was a lot of I don't know if confusion is the right word, but there was a lot of questioning the decision to scratch Bonino, and I'm just wondering.
Did I mess
why?
up? Somebody's telling me I messed up on the graphic. I have so much information to put in here in such a short amount of time, so forgive me, boys and girls. You got it. I'm on it. Keep going, Jerkman.
People, there was a lot of conversation about how scratching Bonino was a bit confusing. Like, why did we do that? And unless I'm missing something, I don't know where the confusion comes from. Like, I understand the Sharks, are not a good team this year. They're actually one of the worst, which has been proven many times this year. But at the same time, you still want to, as you mentioned in the first episode of the season, put a lineup out there that's going to compete, that's going to be enjoyable to watch. And Bonino's not been that, I'm sorry to say. We like Nick Bonino on this show, but as we've established, this league, this sport, this game is very much a what have you done for me lately sort of operation.
Well,
and
wasn't it established last season when Bonino found most of his success on Couture's wing rather than centering the third line?
Yeah, he had, I believe last year he had, I want to say he had 16 goals last year, and half of them were like in April. Like it was a really sort of clustered kind of time where he was getting most of his goals. Yeah, half of his 16 goals were in April, if you can believe it. So maybe that's a sign that he should be playing on Couture's wing, but at the same time, when the center of that line is Couture is not doing what they're supposed to do, kind of hard to see the wingers do what they're supposed to do.
True that.
And we're gonna get into that. So no job will go uncarved. That's what I'm saying.
Well, is this Harrington experiment about over? Is Nudavara coming back anytime soon?
I hope so.
Dear Lord. Anyway, look, both teams played the day before, but as I said, Gregor returns after being scratched for 4 straight. But the second period, the Sharks finally won one. And it started off well because, if you remember, Farabee scored on the power play, but it got called back for being offside. Mm-hmm. Then you get EK65 drawing a call and then later scoring that rare second period goal. This is a kind of a thing, it feels like, for EK65 over the course of this week, is just willing the team to score when they need to, whether it was versus the Rangers or today going, God damn it, I'm so sick of being on the wrong end of the second period. I'm going to do this myself. It's very much, you've seen the movie Major League, right? Mm-hmm. Very much a fuck you, Joe Boo, I do it myself. So, EK draws a call, later scores a goal coming from Hurdle, then Lorentz adding in a tip from a Magnus shot, and the Sharks, for the first time this season, take a lead into the room after 2 periods. Now, the Sharks outshot the Flyers 12-5 in the second and started to even out things in the faceoff circle, but in the third, Philly's like, oh shit, we need to come back, which they have done twice this season. Philly did get a lot more rubber on Reimer in the third, but Sturm would get an empty netter to kind of put the nail in the coffin, so to speak, and that's about it.
You know what? Nico Sturm, 2 goals this week, as I said to you on right before we went live. My villain arc continues with the Nico Sturm, shall we say, carrying the team.
Dude, best off-season signing so far by a long shot.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We got a super chat.
Yeah, Bo's the source. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work. If you guys were to dress up for Halloween, what would it be?
So my answer's lame. Do you want me to go first or last?
I mean, I'll just tell you right now. It's like, if I didn't want to be there until today, I would have just showed up as the Sharks' offense in the second period.
Hey, there you go.
That way, same thing as the Invisible Man. I don't know. Go ahead.
We'll see. As I said, my answer is lame. I'm a lame person. I'm not a costume individual. We'll say I'm not a Halloween party person. But if I have to pick a costume, I'm going with the tried and true law-abiding citizen. That's my costume.
Nice.
You're probably wondering what that looks like.
I feel like it's probably already in your closet.
I may or may not already be wearing it.
Well, see? Wow. Comes early, doesn't it?
It's Halloween every day, so.
Maybe I'd just, I don't know, go as Ian. Just full-on angry robot. The American version.
You would have to significantly kill the lighting in your office.
And grow out the dew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we can arrange that.
Oh, just to shock everybody, I will show up for Halloween as an EK65 fan.
Well,
I mean, that would scare a lot of people who know me.
I was going to say, this is a family show. We don't want to be scaring anybody. Maybe for Halloween, we'll just run you over with a lawnmower.
There you go. I like that. Yeah. Just sit in a red wagon pulling along a lawnmower. I feel like this has gone off the rails yet again.
Yeah, that's fine. I support it.
One thing about now the Sharks, of course, 0 for 1 on the power play. That's something that, of course, needs to be addressed because as it stands right now, the power play is just like it's like we don't even have one.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember, I believe now they are 2 for 25.
Okay.
And then the on the PK though, well, wait a minute, they're still perfect, right? Because on the PK they are
like
23 for 24.
Yeah, it's something like that because I know there was a power play goal allowed against the Devils.
Okay.
Yeah, the power. I'm trying to.
I just remember that the goal that got called back tonight for Philly was going to be a power play goal had it not been called back.
Yeah, the Sharks right now on the penalty kill, they're 24 for 25.
There you go. So
almost 96%. Which is way, way, way above the league average.
And especially Colorado. We'll get into that in a little bit. Oof. So, I mean, I kind of feel like that, well, the best part when I talk about the power play is today, Remenda on the call. How great is it to have Remenda on the call for 3 straight games? Love it. Loves me some Drew. Even better, Hannon in the studio with Brody. Loves me some Hanner. It's been a good week for the broadcast crew. But at one point, Remenda referred to the power play being too stagnant and too slow for the Sharks, and I was like, oh, I'm going to miss you, Drew.
Yeah, we enjoyed his time here, but unfortunately, you're not allowed to tell the truth. So, sorry.
Alden saying that during the postgame, you got Carly dropping the shit bomb in the presser.
Good.
Nice.
The thing I know, I actually think this game here against the Flyers, I actually think was one of the more complete games the Sharks had played this season. They didn't really have that many giveaways. Obviously, they built a lead in the second period and then held it in the third period. Huge, right?
Well, for me, it's again, both teams played yesterday, so you can't run into that whole excuse thing. But I like that they showed some fight back from adversity because they were getting owned in the circle in the first period, like 62 to 38%.
Yeah, that did not stop.
And well, it got a little better in the second, but they were really getting owned, and then they were also heavily outshot, and then they turned the tables in the second, which if you've watched the Sharks for any amount of time this season, you're like, oh, crap, here we go. Like, if they don't take a 3-goal lead into the second, just turn it off.
I'm surprised you think 3 goals is enough.
To go into the second, I would hope.
I mean, you would hope, but we've seen how this team has played this year.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Just, the way, like, obviously one of our jobs in analyzing this team is like looking at trends and looking at patterns and figuring out what that tells us. But it's like, just the way the Sharks have been in the second period, like the fact that, 7 games in, like, it's been pretty much brutal every single night. And then so to come in tonight and actually have, I think the second period was probably their best period. It's kind of like, oh, is it opposite day today? Like, did I miss a memo? Like, what happened?
Right. And here's the thing, how it's like a new era and all that. The post-game show for the Sharks just showed highlights from the Barracuda game. Like,
I think still on TV.
Like,
not the Barracuda, the post-game show.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised they didn't get taken off the air due to low viewership.
So, 4 games this week. The Sharks go 2-2 through 8 games, 2-6-0 with 4 points. So on the course of the week, it didn't start great. You go onto the aisle and you get run 5-2. It sucked, right? I mean, Sturm got a goal. I guess that was the one good thing you could take about it.
Huge.
Is huge.
Well, you know what? And I tweeted this out. I don't know if you saw it or not, but we've had 2 prior to tonight, 2 podcasts where we've sung the praises of Nico Sturm, and he had scored 2 goals. As far as I'm concerned, those 2 are related. And he gets a goal tonight, number 3. So I don't know. He kind of did his part. I think maybe later on in the show we're going to have to say some nice things again to, make it up.
Well, in quotes after Sturm's goal, it was, first-year Sharks have factored into every goal scored by San Jose up through this game against the Islanders. The Sharks' fourth line at that point. Remember that changed later in the week. Although, didn't we talk about that last week on the show? But
yeah, you had a DM about that.
Yeah. So, foreseen, I guess. The Sharks' fourth line had scored 43% of the team's goals so far that season. It's like, oof.
That's awesome when your
secondary scoring is that good. It's just when the
makes you think.
Yeah, the primary scoring, not so much. But Quinn had some thoughts after the game.
Yeah, listen, I mean, sometimes, and it happens to a lot of players, they get on the power play and they just abandon what hockey is all about. They play power play, and that's all that happened on those goals. We had plenty of opportunities, bad as the decision-making was in the offensive zone and, giving up the, odd man situations. We had a chance to just stop at the net front, defend, and, live another day, and we didn't do it. We panicked, we chased the puck, we just played mindless, and it ends up in the back of your net.
You really want your head coach saying you played mindless? Whew.
I mean, if you don't, it's the old kind of saying, right? Where it's like, if you don't want to be criticized, don't do things that open you up to being criticized. I mean, right? Like, you don't want your coach to say you played poorly. Don't play poorly.
Yeah, that's doctor. It hurts when I do this. Don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds really simple, low energy, and maybe we just sign off now and call it a night. But it's like that's it, right? You don't want to be called out for playing bad. Don't play bad.
Alden.
And I understand. I understand. Obviously, the Sharks are not a good team as a collective. I understand that, but the team still has good players on it, and why the good players have been virtually invisible for the first 3 weeks of the season, I can't explain it.
It's a wonder. Alden, following the Philly game here, I'm assuming this is Quinn. The guys did a better job at controlling the scrums, coming out of the scrums with the puck more often than not, and not throwing shit away. Oh, I'm assuming that's EK. Nice.
We love to hear it.
Hell yeah. So it was interesting after that Islanders game because, at that point they're 0-5, and you've got Quinn saying, we need to win. We need to find a way to get a win. This can wear on you in a hurry. You can see it in our guys' faces. And he called the team fragile. And it's, whew. And then you got Sturm with all sorts of honesty talking about that, yeah, this sucks. And it very much kind of, this is bad and we should feel bad. Can you take care of the chat, please?
Yep.
And it was very refreshing to hear Sturm bring that type of honesty. It seems like it had been a minute or so since we have heard that, just kind of blatant, honestly, like, we're not going to sugarcoat shit, and we're not going to deliver you the cliches of, oh, we need to get pucks more, pucks deep. We got to do this more. The same shit you hear after every single loss. It's just, oof. But coming into that Islanders game, yeah, only the fourth line can score. It was just bad. But then Madison Square Garden, Gregor's scratched for the fourth time in 6 games. LeBanc gets scratched for the first time this season, which I thought was probably overdue. The power play finally gets on the board. PK is 100, as you would want. But this is that game jerk that you kind of mentioned earlier. Bonino gets moved to wing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fourth line is now the third line.
Right. And specifically with that second line, Bonino, Couture, Cunnin, like, again, Bonino as the winger, like, we saw what it did last year for this team, so I support it, right? But as I mentioned earlier, when you have a second line center in Logan Couture who looks like he's still in off-season mode, and you have a right winger in Luke Cunnin who can't stay out of the penalty box, I don't think Wayne Gretzky could get anything going on that line.
Yeah, that was it was amazing how many penalties you had going on through that. But wheels come off again in the second period. Sharks cough up 2 goals. They only get off 2 shots on goal over 13 minutes. And then Shimmick, the redeemer.
What a move, dude.
Dude.
You know what? After that goal, I whipped out something we had not talked about in a while. You remember hashtag miss you Shimmick?
Oh my God, I forgot all about that.
Back around, because that was a filthy freaking move, and you know what? It was he deserved it. That was awesome. It was and like I don't know. Like, I know Shimmick has kind of been lumped in with all the other crappy defensemen we have, but I haven't hated his game this year. I mean, is that just me?
Dude, him and Vlasic.
Yeah, they've both been solid. I think I would prefer them on different pairings, but
sure.
Again, I thought they both have been good.
It really makes you, I want to say, like, last week on the show, I remember saying something along the lines of, it's largely the same Sharks we saw from last season. Maybe Bugner wasn't the problem that you might have thought it would have been, because I felt like last season's Sharks circled the wagons a little bit better through adversity. And so coming in, I was like, I don't know if Bugner was a problem. And now I'm going, well, Bugner might have been a problem, at least when it came to Vlasic and Shimmick. And maybe overplaying Burns and Karlsson and not trusting those guys. I don't know.
Well, and you know what? Like, I'm not the idea of, maybe Bugner wasn't the villain after all. I don't buy that. Like, let's call it what is. Like, the last year's team was crappy. This team is somehow worse, right? and I don't, not to say that this has really happened in large numbers, but I'm not ready for the the Bob Bugner redemption tour to start. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Speaking of the Sharks not being as good as they were last year, and obviously we'll talk about it maybe a bit later on, but there seems to be a certain guy playing on the second line in Florida that
I knew you were going to bring him up.
The Sharks might be able to use. I don't know. But he doesn't play the right way, AJ. He doesn't play the right way. But guys who have 0 goals this year play the right way. Right? So,
dude,
I don't know. Hey, you want this knife back? Like,
dude, that Balser thing is just going to go all season long as he keeps that shit up, playing on the second line and getting things done. And
you know what? And I'm going to do as the season progresses. I'm going to do some research. But
Moduel, Balsers?
Not even that, but just like, when he was bought out last summer, the whole thing was, Balsers doesn't play the way we want to play. And, he doesn't do this and doesn't do that and blah, 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 all this stuff. I'd be curious to know, maybe I'll check into it month to month, but like, I want to compare Balsers' stats against all the guys that either stuck around or were brought in that allegedly play the right way. And I want to see, you know what I mean?
You're right.
I think it would be a fun science experiment.
Just a little update on tonight's game versus the Flyers. Quinn is saying that he's still waiting to get an update on Lawrence. Lawrence. Looked like Lawrence was boarded by Delorier near the end of the game and went to the bench in some discomfort. So, hey, Benino, you might be back on Tuesday. Who knows? Back to the Rangers game. In the third period, Sharks held the Rags to only 2 shots on goal. And like I said earlier, like EK just said, okay, this is going to happen. This OT is not lasting too goddamn long.
Well, and
what a move.
Absolutely. And well, not only what a move, but just like the ability to not succumb to the adversity, not succumb to the fact that, oh shit, I got knocked on the ground and the puck's rolling away. Like, no, there was still that maximum effort to get the puck to Timo Meier. And then obviously Meier ended up getting it back to Karlsson and it got the goal. But, in watching this game, I had mentioned it earlier on during the game. There was a point where it was 4-on-4 during regulation. And I had mentioned to my fiance, I said, you know what? I think 4-on-4 actually benefits the Sharks because, they only have about 4 good players. So at least they can have all their good players on the ice at the same time. And, that same thought sort of popped back into my head, as we're getting ready to start overtime. And I tell my fiance, I'm like, hey, if they're not starting with Hurlmeyer and Erik Karlsson, like, they have no business winning this game, just on principle.
Fire Quinn.
And that's exactly who they started with. And I reiterated to her, I said, hey, the Sharks only have 3 or 4 good players. Makes sense to just put them all out there at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, shit. What do you remember a game last season that went to overtime and you like flipped your lid because it was against Edmonton that they didn't.
It happened multiple times.
But
they started overtime with Nieto.
Yeah, or the okay, sure. But I remember specifically a game against Edmonton because they were like, well, we wanted to try to get a specific matchup, and once McDavid was off the ice, we felt we had a chance or whatever. And it's the puck's already in the back of the net, game's over. So,
well, and that's the thing. And I remember, there was a handful of us who were really talking about that because it was a couple games in a short span where this transpired, and I'm like, okay, Hurdle 70-point guy, Timo Meier 80-point guy, no. Matt Nieto, 6 goals in 70 games. Let's run it. It's
dude, I thought you were going to say 6 goals in 7 years.
I mean, it's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just so stupid. It's like, the goal is to score a goal, and you put like your worst forward out on the ice, and it's still happening this year. But whatever.
Oh, well, either way, EK flashing some vintage EK, if you will, and of course inspiring a group of people on social media to post the tried and true and very much cliche and played out. Where are the haters now? It's been 3 games.
That's the easy play. Like that's too. I don't know. That's like
it's the cheap and juvenile shot.
Yeah, I much prefer. I don't know who this individual is, but every time the video,
it's not just one.
No, but every time the video comes around, I love seeing it, and I don't remember the person's Twitter username, but anytime like Karlsson maybe wakes up and does something exciting, they, again, to your point, saying, oh, where's the Karlsson haters now? That's a cheap shot. This person, I believe it's a she, they get a bunch of clips of Erik Karlsson, like highlights, and they put that song Hose Mad over it, and it just runs and runs and runs. I love that. Because that takes work,
Yeah, that takes work, and it's fine. The whole where's the hater, and that's the whole thing. I don't question his talent. I might question his effort sometimes.
Sure.
But it's like if he can play like this regularly, like show me, I don't know, 40 games of this. Not
20?
4. I want 40, not 4. And I pray that the guy's healthy all year long and continues this. I've been waiting on it 4 years now. So anyway, I'm not going down that goddamn rabbit hole. So let's move on to the Devils game. Sharks start well, but Devils finish better after one. I liked how Nisho Hischier tried to kick it. No, you can't. Can I kick it? No, you can't. But the Sharks give up their first power play goal of the season. LeBanc comes through after being scratched the last game, so I guess you like that. At least he responded. But
that's the big thing. It's all about responding, right?
Yeah. But the Devils, holy crap, dude! I didn't realize what a shot suppression team they were. I mean, they outshot the Sharks more than 2-1 in this game. And unfortunately, they just could not find a second goal for Kähkönen, who at this point, I thought that was like his redemption game because he hadn't played that well in his previous starts. So it was really nice to see Kähkönen put this up. I mean, what was his numbers on that? Like 944 when it was all said and done?
Yeah, he ended the night with
934 something?
Yeah, 944. He allowed 2 goals on 36 shots, which is really good.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. And let me guess, both those goals come in the second period, yay?
Hello,
yeah. Thank you.
Yes, they did. One of them on the power play, so it's kind of like,
So, look, I guess after a week of 4 games, I guess you can say there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, Quinn has tough words. It seems as though the team is starting to respond. Sturm, maybe his honesty kind of helped as well. I think it also probably helped a lot that EK65 played some of his best hockey this week.
I mean, and you know what? I don't know that there's one or two main reasons. I kind of think it's a combination of everything, right? I mean,
everybody's tired of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, here's the bottom line. We know the Sharks we know this. They're going to lose more than they win.
Yeah.
But to see them as bad as this team is, as I mentioned earlier, they still have good players. And you're going to see, good efforts throughout the whole season, even in the losses and even in the brutal losses, I would say. And these first 3 weeks have been historically bad. They've been historically embarrassing, I think. And as I said, even though the Sharks are going to lose more than they win this year, there's got to be a sort of I hate this expression, but like a regression to the mean at some point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And something I did notice, I'm curious your thoughts on it. So we've seen all throughout, I mean, really going back to last year, but all throughout, this year especially, where, last year it was like, okay, let's split up Burns and Karlsson for the power play.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, now let's try Karlsson and Burns together, and we'll put some rando on the power play. And we saw that a little bit this year, Ferraro on the power play, Benning on the power play.
Oh, I can't wait to see Magna.
Yeah, right. But something that I noticed that was really interesting, so in tonight's game, and granted, the Sharks only had 1 power play tonight, but Erik Karlsson was the only defenseman who was on the power play tonight. And
wow,
yeah,
talk about inspiring trust.
Well, and go back to last night. The Sharks.
Time space continuum do you live in?
Well, I just watched Interstellar, so
fair.
You go back to last night. The Sharks had 2 power plays. Matt Benning 13 seconds, Vlasic 13 seconds, Mario Ferraro 1 minute and 2 seconds. Erik Karlsson was almost at 3 minutes on the power play. So it kind of feels to me, and I think this is what a lot of people have been yearning for over the years, is like, hey, Karlsson does his best with little to no structure. So just let him do his thing. And kind of like what we talked about on the first episode of the season, forget penalty kill, run him out as much as you can on the power play and in the offensive zone.
See, that's what I was about to bring up, is what are Karlsson's minutes like on the kill?
Yeah, on the kill. So tonight
was 0.
Tonight was 0. Last night was 0. The game against the Rangers was 23 seconds.
See, I'm detecting a trend.
Well, 23 seconds, but the Sharks were on the penalty kill 5 times. And against the Islanders, he was out there for 58 seconds. Sharks were on the penalty kill 3 times. So, 58 seconds out of 6 minutes, 23 seconds out of 10 minutes, so it's kind of I don't want to say that that's the key to success, but you know what, Karlsson, and we're going to get into it. Karlsson was the best Shark this week, and
I think Sturm was a very close second.
Absolutely, 100%. But you see the coaching staff sort of steering into what Karlsson is good at, and then he starts producing and playing better.
The same with Vlasic and Šimek.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
let's just get rid of Harrington and get Nudavara healthy.
What's the reason playing players where they do best? Never heard of it.
Well, and I'm really kind of wondering what the hell is going on with Nudavara, just because if I remember correctly, like at the beginning of the week, the Sharks tweeted out a shot of his water bottle from practice, as if to allude that, he's close. He could be starting tonight or whatever. And here we are, damn near a week later, and still no word. So,
well, the internet says lower body injury.
Well, the internet's always right,
of course. And beyond that, because just we know how the NHL operates, right? And so I don't know how much.
Let's not go down that hole.
But I don't know how much more we'll find out beyond that. But I don't know. I hope he's close, because I don't think he can be any worse than some of the other guys who've been rolled out this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and now here's a funny thing though too. I'm in the chat saying the Flyers are not a good team. I mean, they're only 4-1.
They're still not good.
Oh, they aren't. No, I get it, but it's like it's hard to. I get what you're saying. They're not a good 4-1 team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're punching up for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, because I believe they started out 3-0 and then they're 1-2 since. So
exactly. So and then to finish up on Karlsson, since they acquired him, the Sharks are 17-10-3 when he has 2 points or more in a game. You would hope.
I like those odds.
Yeah, but 30 games out of 211 or 14%. So, yeah, can we get that number up to like 20? That would be nice.
Yeah, I support it.
And speaking of numbers, what do you think about
the numbers?
Yeah, what do you think about these numbers? The 6 games that the Sharks have played in the U.S. so far this season, Remenda on the TV call for 4.
Far out.
Dude, dig it. But of course, the one thing the Sharks do have to clean up is the second period and last couple of games. It's noticeable trending upwards, but let's see what it looks like once they return to the comfortable confines of SAP Center this week. 0-0 for the week, dude. Who you got?
Okay, so for my hero, I kind of
need to get that sound clip. I need a hero.
I sort of went back and forth with this one, because early on I was kind of feeling like nobody deserved it. I was fully prepared to abstain from this part of the podcast. But
what did I take last week? Fuck it, roll them again.
Yeah, well, it would have been 3 weeks in a row picking Nico Sturm, which honestly is not a bad call. Yeah. Not a bad call. I think I want to give him honorable mention, but I got to roll with him, and I alluded to it a couple minutes ago. Erik Karlsson.
Sure.
And I know, there's going to be all this uproar because, the haters hate when you criticize him, and the lovers hate the haters hate when you enjoy him, and the lovers hate when you criticize him.
Yep.
And then you have us who live in the middle. But you know what? 4 games this week, and he had 2 goals and an assist. He was even or plus every game except for there was one game where he was even or plus every game. And
dude, he's a +3 on the week.
That's what I'm saying. And so ended up +3 on the week. He's, as I said a couple of minutes ago, played a lot better since it seems like his strengths have been steered into more. I mean, not getting as much time on the penalty kill, obviously, I think frees him up to be on the power play for 80% of it game to game. And so I honestly don't have anything that I can really find to be upset with. I mean, even tonight's game, the big one, and I know you're gonna love this one. He had a takeaway, an officially recorded takeaway in tonight's game, and I know earlier in this road trip, he had a handful of giveaways, but in the last 2 games he's had no giveaways. Which, yes, 2 games, small sample size, but maybe we're building something here.
All right.
Blocked shots too.
I think
he
I'm
blocked
gonna
3 shots against the Devils.
Oh my God! Can I do mine yet?
Yeah, go first.
I think I'm gonna do pairs now. Full disclosure: coming into this week, I was like, you know what? Just for the rest of the season, every show, my hero was gonna be Mike Creer. Like, credit to the GM for building a team that is doing all they can do to get Connor Bedard, or at least put themselves in the best position to go after him.
Mm-hmm.
That's me being a sarcastic prick, which we're all aware that is me.
Sure.
But this week I'm doing pairs. And so for me, my hero this week is the pair of Vlasic and Šimik.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what they're throwing down so far. Like, I don't know. We heard a lot of the whole everybody gets a clean slate with Quinn and yada, yada, yada. And of course, Greer as well. These guys, it seems like, are being given an opportunity. We know how much I love that word. But they've been given the chance, and they're taking advantage of it. So credit to them.
Well, and especially to your point with Marc-Edouard Vlasic, this week in the 4 games, the lowest amount of ice time he had was just over 18 minutes, which is, as we both know, much higher than what he was getting last year.
Hell yeah.
And we've talked about it. Guys somehow play better when they play more. It's like some kind of weird reverse psychology, but
almost a reverse retro thing. We'll get to it later.
Woo.
Who's our
that's the Skype shutdown sound, by the way.
Yeah. Who's the shared hero this week? No. Like, I almost want to sit here and go, okay, on the count of 3, we're both going to say a name.
Okay, let's do that. Do it. That's fun. Do you want to count, or do you want me to count?
You can count. I'm trying to work out, like, who would be... Yeah, no, I got it. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. Nico Sturm. Okay. We did not agree.
I mean,
Svechnikov, really.
I think I would have went with Sturm. Just that, I don't know, since it's almost like a case of that entire line, like from being bumped from, the 4th line to the 3rd line, like they're getting more minutes, they're handling more situations. The dude has 2 goals. Like,
8, yeah.
That, I don't know. I was expecting, and you have a little bit of fault on this because
sure,
off air, you kind of laid waste to Svechnikov a little bit. You're like, everybody's going, oh, great, we got him. It's like, it's not the one you were hoping for.
I still stand by that, but go ahead.
But so my bar, very, very low. So the fact that he's done this, I'm like, hey, I'll give him a prop.
I mean, that's fair, and you know what? He's 3rd on the team in goals, so I mean, I look like the idiot for now. I think by game 80 we'll feel a bit differently.
Oh, sure.
But I support Svechnikov. I mean, he's gotten a limited sort of role, and I think he's taken it and run with it. As you mentioned, he had a goal and an assist in the game against the Islanders. This week he had 8 shots on goal, which game to game we love to see that.
Zeros. Dude.
Where to begin?
Oh, dude. I mean, can I just say the top line?
Yeah, sure. See, that's the beautiful thing about the player of the week, dud of the week, whatever we're calling it, is it doesn't have to, like, it can be a player, a line, a pairing.
Oh, remember, next week it'll be the treat and the trick of the week.
Yeah, there's a little teaser. But it could be anything. It is. If maybe if your local arena bartender, topped off your drink when no one was looking, then maybe he gets it.
Oh, dude. But dude, this top line. I mean, Hurdle's never gone this long without a goal.
Yep.
What is he? -6 now, something like that.
Tomas Hurdle is -6. He's got 3 points in 8 games.
Dude, and on this week he's -3. On the week, Barabanov, who just came back, he's only played 4 games. He's already -4. Although I will say Barabanov had a really good takeaway tonight, but it's just oof. And it's not like they're not getting some looks. It's just, God damn, you got to finish here at some point. And then Timo, dude, you know, 15 shots this week, not a single goal.
Yeah, you got to hope that just based on the sheer volume of shots he's getting, you got to hope that turns eventually, right? I mean,
it has to. But then again, you know, well, 35 goals last year. Well, okay, well, 5 of them came in one game, but I mean, dude, he's got to
still 35.
Yeah, but they still got to figure this out. So I would say, yeah, my dud for the week is that top line.
Completely fair. I support it.
All right, what you got?
So dud for the week. I don't. It's tough for me because I don't feel like anybody, you know, obviously we talked about Karlsson, we talked about Sturm, but beyond that, and Svechnikov, I don't know that anybody aside from those three was like particularly super good. I think everybody has a hand at the wheel of, you know, being the dud sort of candidate, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hate to even do this because I don't want to know if he's a fan of the show, but he's been on the show. Mario Ferraro.
Oh.
And not that he's been, I mean, he hasn't been great, you know, but it's not to say that he's been the worst player on the team, but I was kind of thinking more ice time, you know, got the big boy contract. I was kind of hoping we were going to see the next step forward, right? Where he's getting, you know, 22, 23 minutes a night, and he's just not letting anything get by him at all. You know, that's kind of what I was hoping for. And now the 23 minutes a night part, he's got it. And, you know, it's not going anywhere, but he's been -4 on the season up to this point. He took a brutal delay of game penalty against the New Jersey Devils. It's just not that he's gotten worse, but he hasn't taken the next step that I think we were all hoping and wanting and needing. And so kind of like what you talked about in the beginning of the season, where it's like, you know, what do you expect from players kind of thing? You know, and with Mario Ferraro, there's a lot of expectations. And I really think he's only been as good as he's always been. He hasn't taken that next step. And, you know, as I said, he's still been good, but not taking that next step is a problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, who's the both?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of,
One, two.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me look at the roster really quick.
Give me a break.
I have a feeling I know who you're gonna say, but I still want to make sure that I'm really giving it the horse eye here.
Come on. Dude.
Okay, I got it.
One, two, three. Harrington.
Kevin LeBanc. Oh, man, we're not on it this week.
No, Harrington to me, it's just like, dude, beat it already. But I completely agree with you. I was this close to saying Pavelski just because he had a hat trick on another team.
God.
But
but you know, but here's the thing with Harrington. Like, okay, yes, he should not be an everyday guy. I support that idea, but
it just feels like anytime he's given an opportunity, I'm going, oof.
What if I told you that he is one of 2 defensemen on the Sharks that are not minus? What if I told you that?
Yeah, no, it blows me away. I mean, he's actually a +1 this week in the one game he played.
Mm-hmm.
But
I just, you know, it's kind of a weird sort of situation. You have to look at everything, as I talked about before, individually, but also as like with the collective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like, do I think Scott Harrington should be in the lineup on a nightly basis? No. But you're asking me to pick 6 names? He's on the list.
All right. But I completely agree with you on LeBanc, and that would have been my second one.
Yeah,
but I was at least he responded, but I felt like the response was short-lived.
Yeah, he responded, which is good, but again, you know, he played really well in Prague, and then what after that, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody put it's pretty hard not to be a minus on this team. Yeah, no, I feel you, but Nico Sturm was +3 this week, so
I have to say, just as an aside, I'm talking about sandwiches earlier. You know, this is a sandwich that I'm eating here. I've been quite impressed with Jacob Megna.
Dude. Yeah, I would take. But see, and at the beginning of the season, if you remember, when we were all shooting the shit with like previews and whatnot, a lot of it was like, oh, Magna will be the first one to be sent down when everybody's healthy or whatever. And I'm like,
right.
And I was thinking, I don't know about that. Hell, Harrington's already been waived once.
Well, but you know what though? You kind of look. The tea leaves were sort of trending that way because Magna had played a lot of last season with Erik Karlsson, and then fast forward to preseason this year, and Magna wasn't even in the same group as Karlsson. Yeah. So you kind of felt like it was trending that way, But since he's came in to the lineup, he's been quite good. I mean, he's the best. He's the best defenseman in terms of plus minus. He's the best defenseman in terms of points. Or I'm sorry, not points. He's the second best defenseman in terms of points. Excuse me. And he's somehow found a way to make it happen, Captain. And we support it.
Tony Couture coming in saying, team chemistry is emerging now. Sturm should be with Couture and Cunnin on the second line. Your thoughts? They've tried everything else.
I would support that. I mean, obviously Sturm has found an ability to provide some offense, so it does make you wonder what he can do with more offensive players. But again, I think Couture and Cunnin, like, they should not be on the same line together because Couture's give a shit meter seems like it's at an all-time low, and Cunnin can't stay out of the box, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I like what Sturm is doing with his own line. It's
that too.
It's becoming kind of. I don't want to say it's
say it.
It's not the second coming of Ricci, Scott Thornton, and Nicholas Sundstrom.
I knew you were going to go there.
Well,
I love it. I support it.
Well, just because that team had an identity, and I feel like Sturm and what he's doing is giving that line an identity. So,
PJ48 wants to know,
provoking the crap out of you.
Yeah, is neither an option? I mean, you know what? I think.
I mean, dude, it's seventh. They're not going to play very often.
Yeah, I mean, just on recent history, I think I would say Harrington because like Harrington actually has experience playing in the NHL.
And as a bad host, I should note for all the people listening to the audio portion of this, the question was, would you rather have Harrington or Meloche as your seventh? And so we know what the jerk says. We got to speed things along because we have got a lot more to get into. Canucks are the first team in NHL history to lose each of their first 4 straight games in a season while blowing a multi-goal lead in each contest. They're the only team in the NHL without a win. Jerk, this was your dark horse last year. Do they challenge the Sharks for the basement in the Pacific at this point?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I have them doing better than the Vegas Golden Knights this year. Of course, I look stupid for saying that, but
we're talking about a team that replaced their coach too late last season because it was just such a horrible start for them. And so, of course, all those same people that were screaming, Bruce, there it is, are now going, get him the fuck out of here.
Right. I just think, like, we kind of talked about it earlier on, right? But, like, we knew going into the season that the defense for the Vancouver Canucks was going to be, the struggle point of their game, and that's proven to be the case. It's not for a lack of good goaltending. Of course, Thatcher Demko's numbers would tell you otherwise, but he's a legitimate elite goaltender. And, the forwards have, maybe they could score a little bit more, but, everybody to a degree has pulled their weight as much as they can. I would say the exception being probably Nils Höglander and Ilya Mikheyev. But I think with Vancouver, it's only a matter of time before things are going to, kind of flip the script and they're going to be back at it. And
when do they play the Sharks? That'll turn it around.
Right. Well, and you know what? Word around the street is they've been sniffing around one of the defensemen on Pittsburgh, so that could change the game for them.
All right. Are the Krakening? I like that, though. The Krakening. Are the Kraken ruining Shane Wright? I mean, he's getting buried on the fourth line. He's playing 6 minutes a night when he's not scratched. Sounds like the antithesis of development. This is exactly what we don't want to do with Eklund and Bordelot. I don't understand why you would subject them to come up. This is a transition year. So should the Kraken be doing the same thing? Like put Shane down with Coachella or wherever he needs to go?
Yeah, so with Shane Wright, they would end up sending him back to his junior team.
Okay, let him go kill and destroy the junior team and play 18-20 a night.
Right. Well, and that's kind of the catch-22 is, there are some conversations that he is too good to go back to the OHL. And so as we talked, I mean, we talked about it on multiple platforms over the summer, but it's like, the Kraken are not going to be scaring anybody this year. The Kraken are not really going to be making a whole lot of noise this year.
So why not give him more time then?
That's what I'm saying. You lose nothing by playing him in the top 6. And honestly, and we talked about it, a year and a half ago when it first came out, but I think what this comes down to is shitty coaching. It's Dave Haxtell, sort of seeing the writing on the wall and realizing, hey, you know what? Sooner or later, these guys are going to find out that I'm a shitty coach. So I need to play. Maybe you can make an argument that he's playing the quote unquote best players, but it's like, no, I need to play.
I would disagree there, sir. Simply because Martin Jones has gotten starts.
That's what I'm saying, and he's actually gotten more starts than Philip Grubauer. Granted, Grubauer's hurt, but
well, I was going to say, Jones. If memory serves, Jones came in the other night to spell Grubauer, and actually, nothing got by him.
Well, and that's the thing, and you know what? The Kraken have actually, their top guys have played quite well.
When Jones only has to play 20 minutes a night, he's not that bad.
Right. Yeah, the Kraken have actually played. Their top guys have played quite well, but again, with Shane Wright, you think he's too good for the OHL, so you have him in the NHL. Okay, that's fine, but with a player that young, that talented, you need to find ice time for him, whether it's, a late offensive zone start, it's a power play 2 kind of situation. You need to find time for him. And as I said, I personally think Dave Haxtell is a bad coach, and I think this comes back to bad coaching.
Seattle will find that out soon enough.
Well, it's, you know what, kid, you've played 5 games in the NHL, and so, we're gonna judge how much you can help the team based on how many games you've played.
All right.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Kraken versus Blackhawks today. Jones versus Stalock. Love it. Dude, Edmonton's starting off slow, and it makes you wonder if McD and Leon are going to get run down on time on ice. And then, dude, LA through 7 games, 24 goals for, 31 against. There's only 2 teams with more goals for, but they have the highest goals against in the league, and somehow they're still right in the middle of the Pacific. I don't understand what is going on. They're just, I thought Quick was having a resurgence year, and it's just looking at the numbers, goals against 31. Dude, you're getting lit up like Randy Hahn's birthday cake.
No, I think with Quick, last year, many people were saying that last year was kind of a resurgence for Quick, and he, all this kind of stuff. He only had a 910, which is barely average, right? So when you're,
I don't know, a lot of people were talking. Many people were saying that he was the final year of his deal, and everybody's looking at Cal, and Johnny's like, no, I got something to say.
Right, which I understand and I support that, but at the same time, let's break it down. Let's think about it fundamentally. You have, for the first time in 4 years, you have a resurgence where you're just playing lights out, and after it's all said and done, you have the stats of an average goalie.
Oh.
Right? Right? So it's like, well, I don't want to say that I saw this coming, but when you have 888, 904, 898, and then you play your balls off and you have a 910,
true.
It's really not that impressive in the grand scheme of things. And you know what? I was wondering why LA didn't go with Cal Peterson last year. Obviously, it worked out for them. This year, they have to go with him. They can't have, their backup goalie. First of all, their backup goalie who's young, like Cal Peterson, again, he's not a kid.
Yeah,
right?
They got to make the move.
But he's not as old as Jonathan Quick, and so you need, a player of that age, that skill level. You need him playing, but also, $5 million for the next 3 years as a backup. That's not efficient.
No. The plan got accelerated after last year. They got to make a move.
Yeah.
And as much as we're sitting here going, oh, well, Vancouver will shake it off and, the tide will begin to turn. I'm wondering, just with Vegas starting off as well as they have, if that tide will start to even out a little bit. But I don't want to go down.
Hard to say.
Yeah, I don't want to go down there. So Gary Bettman, after the Board of Governors, blah, 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 that escrow balance likely will be paid off at the end of the season, so that means the salary cap could jump. How jacked are you? Because we know that your second favorite player is cap space.
Yeah, this is like the best possible news that could come out. Obviously, a lot needs to go right, but I think reverse retro 2.0 being a thing, if the NHL can build on their record high playoff viewership from last year, I think that's going to be a thing. And, last year, multiple teams had reduced or zero capacity due to the pandemic. So hoping that we don't have any of that this year, it's all going to help. And I think, man, if we, even $1 million, which is the current plan, even if it goes up to 83.5, I still think that's a victory. But if they can, if the debt is paid off and we see 86.5, you're going to see a lot of things open up.
Whew. All right. Let's move on here before we get into the really fun stuff. There is another team in San Jose that's doing a little bit better.
Ooh, Barracuda.
Oh, Mylanta, the San Jose Barracuda. By the way, 2 R's in Barracuda for those of you at NBCSF's graphics department. 2 games versus the Henderson Silver Knights to open Tech CU. Woo, baby. Open the new barn with a shutout from Deller and a 4-0 win against the Silver Knights. Tristan Robbins getting the first ever Barracuda goal at Tech CU. Fun fact, a gamer jersey of his was for sale at the beginning of this game, and from what I understand, was sold immediately after that goal was scored.
Of course it was.
Coe scored twice. Bordelot adds the final nail in the coffin in the third. I was told that it was sold out, but like 3 days before the game, I was also offered 4 tickets. So I don't know. Seemed like a weird flex, but whatever. Game 2 sees the Barracuda earlier today score 3 straight after giving up the first 2 goals to Henderson. Bordelot knocks on the door yet again. Luke Johnson ties the game with his second of the season, and CJ Seuss would net the game winner for his first marker of the season. Johnson and Seuss both with 2-point games, and McAniemi saves 31 of 33. You have to like this CUDA team, especially after what they did last year, which was nothing.
Right.
I mean, you talk about nowhere to go but up. And, dude, they're like with a bullet.
Yeah. I mean, 4-0 to start the things off. The Barracuda and the AHL, it feeds the NHL. We all know that. And so it's important to have, the young guys, the guys that you envision for the future of your team playing well. And, I know there are a lot of folks, myself included, who think back fondly of that 16-17 Barracuda team. Because they were really good, but this team I think is better. And, I think what we've seen up to this point, I think it's only a sign of things to come.
Oh, my bad. Ian saying that it's not CJ Seuss, it's CJ Cease.
There you have it.
Oh, my God. Then spell it like that, God damn it. I'm tired of these names. Take some. There needs to be a hockey. You know how you have like English class, Spanish class? There needs to be like hockey pronunciation class. And I'm sure Kevin Lacey will be happy to teach it. Jesse saying a lot less people at Tech CU today, but still better than anything at SAP last year. Of course. Yeah, who wants to be in that cavern with, 800 people?
But,
so
question for you while we're on the Barracuda.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there were some internal conversations about a giveaway contest.
Mm-hmm.
I have the contest question picked out if you want to get into that now.
We have so much to get into. So we're going to do a giveaway. It could be a Tech CU shirt. It could be a San Jose Barracuda, puck. It could be we got a wristband. We got a towel from last night. It could be a combination of things. So, dudes and chicks, hang out with us for a little while, and we'll do something at the end of the game to give out something for the Barracuda fans in the house.
There you have it.
Just a couple things of note. This isn't me trying to shit on anything. I'm just saying. I saw a decent amount of complaints about food times, like people waiting for that, and bar staffing, and I just chalked that up to it's a brand new venue. Like they gotta find their rhythm. They'll iron out the kinks, and halfway through the season, it'll all be humming along. So I get what you're saying. Believe me, I wasn't too thrilled about having the Fireball Cove being staffed by one bartender for the first 45 minutes of the opening of the barn. Definitely took some time, but they'll figure it out. One thing that they do have to figure out is the sound levels. So I've mentioned it at the tank before. Dude, the PA cranked just a hair too high, and the girl on the PA, Amelie or Amelia, or I think it's Amelie. Boy, there's she is one excited girl on that microphone sometimes, and if you are standing in the wrong place, holy crap! I mean, I saw people last night holding their hands to their ears because it was too loud, and even my my Apple Watch went off a couple times saying, "Dude, you are in a very loud area." So dial it in, and we'll all be good. But so far, off to a roaring start. The venue's gorgeous, and they just keep adding things to it. So it should be a lot of fun and way easier to get in and out of than I imagined it might have been. I was a little nervous about that, but it was very simple, very easy. And you know what the play is? You park a half mile away, you have a couple good beers, and then you walk down and have a nice little brisk walk. It's good. CUDA will play 3 this week at home, hosting the Rain on Wednesday, and then a pair against the Tucson Roadrunners on the weekend. Hopefully, the Barracuda can continue this and just keep chugging along, because it's going to be one of the fun stories to see happen this season, especially when we get to a point of, what is it, when they put that little E next to the Sharks on the standings? Gives you something to still care about.
Right.
Let's get to our tweet of the week before we get to the really fun stuff here. We haven't buzzed the tower on these guys in a while, so let's do it. Fanatics, you're back. Alex Plaxton here tweeting out, "Hey Fanatics, I know it's supposed to be quote unquote retro, but I don't recall a time when the Washington Capitals spelled their name Captials. How is this officially licensed gear? It's got to be somebody's job to check this stuff, right? They literally spelled it Captials, not Capitals." Fanatics, keep doing you, man. Keep doing you. All right, let's get to the fun stuff. Retro reverse jerseys. As you can see, I'm wearing mine from 1.0. But everybody has a list, and whether it's Hockey Guy or Dangle or whoever, they all have their lists, as do we. So let's dive in. On the whole, let me just ask you this before I give you your ASMR. Here we go. There it is. On the whole, better or worse than 1.0?
Worse, 100%.
Really?
Yep.
Ooh, all right, let's get into it. Let's start with Anaheim. We're going to do this shit alphabetically. So you remember last time round, they had that beautiful Wild Wing coming up out of the water. Everybody loved this. This was in most people's top 3. It was certainly in mine. Loved it. And this go around, they went slightly different. They threw it back to the original logo, but with current colors. I'm not a fan of the current colors. But for me, the way that I'm judging this, since we're doing this kind of compare thing, is this a step forward or a step back? For me, this is a step back from the last one. What about you? And I should say, I got to give it some context. The 1993 signature asymmetrical body stripe, chevron sleeve stripes, and 3 color player numbers is an ode to the Ducks' inaugural season uniform, remixed with the team's modern-day color scheme. Winner or loser?
I actually neither. I actually think it's a lateral move. I think both are good jerseys. Both
you can only buy one. Which one are you doing?
I mean, neither. Like
you have to buy one. Which one are you buying?
well, I mean, I would probably buy this one only because I think I like the Mighty Ducks logo better than the Wild, whatever it's called, the Wild Wing one. But just in terms of like, they're both nice jerseys. They both follow the criteria, that we talked about, like how sort of mixing in different styles, the current colors, the old style, old colors, current style, doing sort of that Frankenstein action. I think
this ain't doing much for you.
No, I think it's a lateral move, but that's not a bad thing.
Okay. Oh, boy, be a triple.
What if it was purple?
What if it was purple? Here we go. The Coyotes are the first team to ever wear a jersey featuring an earth tone color, sienna. Inspired by the Coyotes' 98-03 third uniform, this jersey depicts a desert and incorporates the Coyotes' crescent moon logo as part of the landscape. So to me, this is just very much kind of like, what if it was sienna? Is this kind of lateral to me, but I prefer the purple.
See, again, and there's going to be, I feel as we compare all these, I feel I'm going to have a lot of qualifiers here. I think it's a step back, but it's still one of my favorite jerseys from this batch.
Okay. The other thing,
just because we've talked about it so much, purple needs to be more mainstream in the NHL.
Hell yeah. The other thing that kind of stands out for me for whatever reason more, and it might just be the photos of the model or whatever, but that the portion of the jersey that has the skyline, kind of the mountains and cactus or whatever, just that little line, it kind of looks like an added apron.
Sure.
Whereas like the Ducks Reverse Retro 1.0 was sublimated throughout, so you didn't have that. I like the sublimated version better, but anyway.
Fair.
So for you, you're also saying lateral.
No, I say step back.
Oh, step back. Okay.
But a very small step back.
Gotcha. All right. Boston. You remember 1.0.
Yep.
Nice gold one. I didn't have a problem with this. Like it certainly wasn't at the top of my list, but I didn't think of it as a loser. I just kind of went, yeah, that seemed like the obvious way to go. This time around, Boston brings back Pooh Bear.
Huge.
Inspired by the Bruins' 95 third jersey that was originally gold, this bright white jersey's main character is the Bruin itself. Legend has it that the image of the Bruin was taken from a painting of a bear hanging on a team executive's wall, and why it resembles a painted image rather than a digital one. I got to tell you, on gold, the original one, not a fan. On white with the trim and everything, dude, love it.
Yeah, and again, with these reverse retro jerseys, both 1.0 and 2.0, I sort of grade it on two metrics. Number one, do I like the design? Number two, do I like the inspiration? Right? Mm-hmm. I sort of grade it on two metrics, and especially when we get to the Sharks one, you're going to see that in play quite a bit. This one, so for the Bruins 1.0. The execution, I'm not a fan of yellow, but the inspiration, I support it. I respect the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
This one, 2.0, better design. Love the inspiration from it. For me, Boston, it's a step forward. And I didn't really think all too hard about that. I came to that conclusion pretty quickly.
Yeah, I like that. Like, again, I judge this on if I can only buy one, which one am I getting?
Sure.
Or I shouldn't say buy. I'm not spending money on any of this stuff. But it's like if I have to pick, and it's like, no, I would totally go Pooh Bear over the yellow one.
See, and in this situation, I do agree with you. I do think that's a very easy choice. But like with the Ducks one especially, I like both about the same. So, my metric for choosing would honestly be flipping a coin,
Gotcha. All right. Buffalo. This, boy, I got to tell you. I think this is a step back for me. But either way, we remember 1.0 from them with the what was originally a black and red jersey.
It was primarily black and red.
Yeah, and then they upgraded it to the current royal blue and gold. So this go around, they keep that blue and gold, but go with the goat's head. Buffalo, the Sabres uniform blends the style of the 96 logo with the colors of today. The body stripes and horn-shaped outline on the upper arm complement the center crest, the bison buffalo. I got to tell you, I think I would have liked this more had the jersey been blue. Like if you
Sure.
invert the blue and the white on this, I think I would have really liked it a lot more.
So again, going back to my metric of do I like the design and do I like the inspiration, Buffalo's 1.0 was a home run for me. This one, it's a grand salami for me. Like,
Oh, really?
I love, okay, so, and we talked about this so much when 1.0 came out. I love the Frankensteining, different era, one era color with another era design, and you sort of
Like
mash
LA,
them
right?
together. Yeah, like LA did with 1.0, and you kind of just see what happens, And so you couple that with the fact that the goat head logo is a vastly superior logo to the dueling sabers logo. To me, like 1.0 was a home run, 2.0 is a grand slam.
What you're saying is Buffalo understood the assignment.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that because it popped in my head and I forgot to mention it. Buffalo followed the rules because there's and don't get me wrong, we'll get to it. There's a lot of teams, they have a really awesome jersey, but it's more retro than reverse, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And for the people watching, give us your takes in the chat. Like, let us know which one's popping for you. Let's move on to Calgary here. So 1.0, I guess, was such a hit that's now their like third jersey.
Yep, accurate.
Yeah, I think a few teams need to consider that.
Arizona.
Yeah, oh, dude, in a big way. So this go around, Calgary went with the pedestal design. The Flames crest is placed on a thick diagonal striped pedestal in this jersey, an ode to the 95 uniform. The number and name are italicized to match the forward movement of the Flames C crest. I got to tell you, like, as much as you were kind of like, flip a coin on Anaheim, I'm kind of the same with Calgary's, both of Calgary's designs. I don't know. There's something about this design for Calgary that I don't like, and I think, again, I go back to look at the apron underneath the C. Had they sublimated it, I think I would have been like, love it, dig it. But it looks like someone took two different jerseys and stitched them together.
That's okay. I didn't think about that, but that's a good point.
Yeah,
here's
me off. Like, if the body of this had been all black, I would have been all, oh, love it, absolutely.
So here's my take on the matter. Excuse me. So,
or take away the pedestal.
Here's the thing. Looking at the collective, again, just very wide, broad, sort of 50,000 foot view. I think it's a lateral move, but I'll break it down for you. Their 2.0 design is worse than their 1.0 design, but their inspiration and their execution significantly better in 2.0, because 2.0 they took the second at the time away. They took their second away jersey that they ever wore, flipped some colors around, and that's in the spirit of the reverse retro kind of mindset. You're sort of tweaking it, flipping things around, and seeing what happens. But the design is very ugly. Now you go back to 1.0, all they did was change one color on one stripe color. But the design the logo is badass. So on 1.0, good design, bad inspiration. On 2.0, bad design, good inspiration. And that's why I say it's lateral, but for different reasons, if that makes sense.
All right. Christine saying the stripe thing is weird. It looks like a woman's bathing suit. Yeah, it's something. Again, I think if you take away the pedestal portion and you just keep, and again, get rid of the apron part thing, but you just have the horizontal stripes, I think it's a winner.
Sure.
It's the pedestal and that apron that throws me off. Carolina. Let's see here. So you remember Carolina going back to the whale last time around. Huge for a lot of people. A lot of people had this in their top 5. This time around, Oh, did it I mean, isn't this like one of their fucking current jerseys? But I digress. The team's current away jersey gets redesigned in a bold red for the first time in franchise history. There are 2 sets of hurricane warning flags on the shoulders and the Canes stair-step center crest to underscore the flag details. I feel like I've seen this before. This doesn't feel retro reverse anything. It just feels like, oh, it's a Canes jersey.
Well, it's definitely reverse. I'll give them that one.
Well, was it in white before?
Yeah, it's currently in white. It's their current away jersey.
Oh, okay. Why are we even talking about this?
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's definitely it's definitely reverse. I give them props for that. But to your point, not retro at all.
Yeah, dude. Everybody wanted a red Whalers.
That would have been dope,
dude.
And I wonder, or even Whalers like hurricane warning style, I think would have been a lot better as well. But this to me feels, and by the way, I think again what they're trying to do, I support it, but I'm not a fan of the design itself. And to me, this feels like cutting a corner. So the Hurricanes for this season, they flipped their jerseys. They made the home jersey the alternate jersey the home jersey. This feels to me like, oh, you know what? We're kind of sick of our red jersey anyway. Let's introduce a red reverse retro based on our current away jersey, and then in a year or two, we'll just make that the new home jersey or alternate jersey. It feels like a sort of a backdoor redesign as opposed to actually in the true spirit of reverse retro. So I think it's a step back.
Yeah, I would come to say that I don't think you could name another team that did so well the first time and so badly the second time, but the Canes have my vote for number 1 in that category. Chicago. Last time around, I mean, and we're talking, Chicago kind of has a lot of history to tap into. Last time around, wasn't one of my favorites, but I didn't think it was absolutely horrible. This time around, kind of almost in the same boat. And remember, I'm not a fan of wordmark jerseys, but Descripto says the 83 Chicago uniform takes on a literal interpretation of reverse retro. The black and red colors are inverted with the Chicago wordmark inspired by the 2019 Winter Classic crest laying across the chest. Again, and the other thing, too, is do the teams talk to each other? Because when I first saw this, I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that the Detroit jersey, too?
So here's the thing for me. We've talked about with the Sharks, they've been really awful and then they become awful, and that's progress. Or they were bad and then now they're really bad. And, so with this one, their 1.0 jersey was one of the worst. And somehow they found a way to outdo themselves.
I completely agree.
Now, again...
Now, if I had to pick between the two...
Sure.
I would be like you and like, okay, when you say pick between the two, you mean which one I throw in the fireplace first?
Yeah, I think I would abstain from that choice. But here's the thing. Again, and this is sort of my two-pronged approach to it. Do I like the design? Do I like the inspiration? I actually don't hate the inspiration. The design sucks, though.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me because I didn't think it could get any worse than their 1.0.
Dude. And Christine coming in hot yet again. This looks like a shirt designed for the kids department at Kohl's. She's not wrong.
I kind of think, honestly, if you took the logo, the numbers, and the shoulder patches off this thing, I think when I was a kid, I had a T-shirt that looked like that.
Yeah. I might have had the same one. But, yeah, I'm just... Meh.
Also, I just think, like, now, I'm not a fan of, like, the word, the word or the letters as a logo, right? Just because it's like, we know where you're from. We know you play in Chicago.
We're aware.
That's the same thing, with the Vancouver Canucks when they changed their jersey. Oh, finally, we're not reminded that they play in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at this and I'm like, I understand. With Chicago, it's really hard because their logo historically and even now is extremely problematic. So I understand why they have sort of a small sort of room to operate in. I get it, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much more that could have been done. Like they could have, and maybe we're getting too far into the weeds, but the really cool shoulder patch they have, sort of that tomahawk kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
When's that becoming a crest?
Hey now.
Or even the I'm sure you've seen it floated out on the internet, but the Black Hawk. It's actually a Black Hawk.
Oh, yep.
Why not something like that?
Yeah. Again, just not a big fan of word marks. It's kind of like the Rangers for me own the patent on that one.
Well, and if you can you zoom out to the full one a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, you put some number. This reminds me of like the Dallas Stars,
the penal colony one.
Yeah, the home and away jerseys from like the early 2010s, where it's like, why are you wearing your penitentiary uniform to a hockey game? Like.
All right. Let's move on to Colorado, who, I mean, for all intents and purposes, dude, like blew everybody out of the water with the design first go around.
So, yeah, and that's the thing with similar to Buffalo when we're talking about 1.0, they understood the assignment.
Oh, did they? I don't know that they understood the assignment the second time around. But dude, for most people this was tops from from the first go around. Mm-hmm. And now this one, no. And again, we're going to get into it, but as much as Detroit and Chicago must have had some sort of firewall between them, I would say the same for Colorado and New Jersey, and you'll see why in a little bit. But for this one, Colorado Avalanche, the Stanley Cup champions, honor their inaugural and first Stanley Cup championship season, I guess. I don't know. Honor their inaugural season by paying homage to their state. I don't know what the hell that has to do with their state, but the center C crest derived from the state flag, and the angled stripes mimic the Rocky Mountains. Dude, I'm so tired of this C logo, and it probably has to do with the fact that they replaced like my favorite Colorado, the Yeti foot, with that damn C.
Well, so let me hopefully break it down for you a little bit. I actually don't agree with you on saying that they didn't understand the assignment this time around. I actually think they understood it again. And again, is that my favorite design? No, but it's nice. It's a nice design.
Maybe if they invert the blue with the white, maybe I like it a little bit more.
But there's a couple things at play here. Number one, as you read from the graphic, the logo on front, that is from the state flag. I agree with you. It's an ugly logo, but it's sort of paying homage to Colorado, and I support it. And the design, the sort of the striping on the arms and the shoulders and the waist, that's pulled pretty much directly from their first set of jerseys, that pattern, So I respect that they're kind of paying homage to the first sort of set of jerseys that they wore, but also the color scheme. It pulls from the color scheme of the Colorado Rockies professional hockey team, which was not in the NHL for very long. But again, you're paying homage to the history of professional hockey in the state of Colorado, which again, I support it. So I actually quite like this. The inspiration for this design, like if I'm grading it, A+. The design itself, I'll give you a B-. But
dude, I just look at that state logo and all I can see is Pac-Man choking on a jawbreaker. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, let's move on.
I support your right to feel that way.
Columbus, I felt like they understood the assignment the first go around in a big way.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, totally love the fact that they used the old CB logo with the stick down the middle. This go around, no. This is a step back for me. The black body accented with navy stripes along the sleeves honors the Blue Jackets' original third jersey while tying it in light blue from the team's current third jersey. The original third jersey was the first display of the current Blue Jackets logo, inspired by the Ohio State flag. I got to be honest, to me, for any of you that are old enough or can remember when Starter did a run of like every team in black and called it a fashion series and whatnot, that's exactly what this looks like.
So,
step back for me.
Yeah, I think it is a step back as well, but it's not a very large step back. I mean, I think, again, their inspiration, I think, is bang on. It's a nice sort of play on what they've done historically, but, the design, it kind of looks like, and maybe it's because, the blue that's featured here is not the blue that was featured back in 2003, but it just it looks to me like a DH Gate jersey that the color is ever so slightly off on. Like,
good point.
I'd be curious to, because like, and the graphic said, it features the blue from the current alternate jersey, which is more of that lighter blue sort of style. I wonder what this jersey would look like with the true navy blue from that 2003 jersey.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what, Christine should just be running the chat right now. She makes a note that says the jersey, it makes her body look distorted. Can we find a model that isn't a waif? Like this particular girl that's modeling this, and watch, in every one of these, she's wearing a jersey that's clearly like 2 sizes too big for her. So it's definitely not flattering. That's something that I wanted to cover towards the end. But yeah, since Christine pointed it out, the jerseys are ridiculously, like, we couldn't have found models that were, I don't know, a bit more sturdy. That'd be, dear Lord.
I don't know. I don't think that's a considering. I don't think that should be a considering factor. I think the whole
just
thing
looks silly. Is at least get them the right size one.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but the whole thing, the whole idea with jerseys is that it's like it's supposed to be big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but maybe this Columbus one isn't great, but we'll go into some other ones. Holy crap, do they look silly? And of course, it's the tried and true thing of let's give everybody a hoodie to wear under it because that's how everybody wears their hockey jersey. Whatever. Dallas. Oh boy, I feel like this could be something to get into. I really liked Dallas's 1.0 go around. I love it. I love had they made the arms and the bottom part, black to really make the star stand out more. Mm-hmm. To me, that would have been the better play. But when you look at it, top to bottom, where they're wearing white breezers and white, like everything's white, like I was like, kind of a crisp look. I get it. This go around could be a little controversial, but the Stars modernized the team's inaugural season uniform with its current color palette. The Stars' word and logo blend into one as the shoulder patches include images of the state of Texas with the D marking the location of Dallas. I do think that is a great secondary logo on those shoulder patches. I love this logo. I always have. I always thought it worked really well. I just go back to the whole thing of you had that Star jersey. That was one of the coolest that they used it for the All-Star game, right? Back in the 90s.
Correct.
Dude, just such a great, I don't understand how you don't go back to that, but how about you? Because to me, I think this is lateral. I don't love it more than the other one, but I don't hate it more than the other one.
I actually think this is a step up because on the 1.0 jerseys, again, you're going to hear me talk about this a lot. The execution, the inspiration, I thought was 100%. They hit it, right? You take that 1999 home jersey and you put the current shade of green on there and you sort of do the different look. I respect the inspiration, but I didn't like the design itself. I actually thought it was quite ugly. So then you go to 2.0 and they once again have hit well with the inspiration element of it. They take their away jersey from 1993 and they sort of bring in the modern green and they sort of flip around a couple of the colors. So they hit on the inspiration again. They're probably one of the few teams that have got 100% on the inspiration both times, but the design itself, this is a much better design than 1.0. I think it's a step forward.
Okay. The other thing that I'm kind of seeing, or I guess noticing more here, again, oversized jersey, could have been a size smaller, but the NHL logo, I get what they were trying to do, the orange, give it more of a retro feel, but the chrome one from the first round it kind of blended with everybody, where the orange one, sometimes it works and sometimes it really clashes. And it makes me wonder, should the teams have been allowed to use their color? I think that would look kind of sharp if instead of orange, it was the same green that they're using.
It's an interesting thought, and I actually do support that. I think that would look really cool. But I also like fully steering into the retro style and having, the pre-2005 NHL logo there. I think that's a nice touch, even if it maybe doesn't fit perfectly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Detroit has no idea what. I mean, just stop already. Just maybe stop making jerseys.
Yeah, they missed the mark both times.
Holy crap. I mean, 1.0, it was like, okay, let's just take our white one and let's throw some duct tape on it. Sure. Second go around, oh boy, not much better. The new to the Red Wings uniform, a black trim accent runs along the jersey, pants, and socks and gloves and helmet for a seamless look. The jersey honors Detroit's 1991 NHL 75th anniversary jersey with a Detroit ward mark inspired by the 1920 Detroit Cougars jersey. I will say, have you seen this on social media where they show it top to bottom, where it's like it's very much like the Sharks, where it's red pants, red socks, red lid, red gloves, everything's red. And in that regard, it actually kind of pops. But on its own, and this is, last time I looked, when you go, Jerk, to go buy a jersey, you're not also looking to buy the pants and the lid and the gloves and the everything. You just want the jersey. Mm-hmm. So on its own, I kind of go, ooh. But fully done, it actually kind of looks not too shabby.
Yeah, I give them props for trying to be more creative than 1.0. I think that's very obvious that they at least tried to be more creative, but I don't know. I respect the inspiration, but this is I don't know. I just don't like this execution whatsoever. I mean, first of all, it looks exactly like the Chicago jersey.
Right. Dude, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just make it look a little different.
Well, and you know what? The Detroit Red Wings jersey, there's a reason why it's their current home jersey. There's a reason why it's been unchanged since 1937, and that's because it's iconic. It's a beautiful jersey. And so I understand based on that fact, the bar is kind of high for anything new you produce. And we've talked about this, I don't know how many times, but I look at their 2016 Stadium Series jersey. I look at their 2017 Centennial Classic jersey. Those were both awesome jerseys that found a way to live in the same atmosphere as their current home jersey that's been around for 80 years. Why not bring one of those back and do a little tweaking with or, why not really steer into the mental insanity and let's do like a black Red Wings jersey?
Oh, yeah. I'm down for it. Edmonton. This is always interesting.
Their 1.0 was not my favorite, but it wasn't bad.
I was like, well, again, you know what? To me, I looked at this and I'm like, this isn't already their jersey,
right?
It looked so not off the beaten path. How did this not exist already? So for the first go around, I thought Edmonton did a fine job. Like they didn't piss me off, but they didn't hit it out of the park. I was just kind of like, yeah, looks good looking jersey.
Yeah.
Second go around, a lot of people were very happy. The Oilers' first third jersey assumes a modern orange and navy twist. Front and center is the oil drop, or what other people refer to as something different, surrounded by a dynamic gear with each bolt hub representing one of the team's 5 Stanley Cup championships. I believe this is McFarlane designed this logo.
Yeah, and they didn't wear this jersey for very long either. It was only from 01 to 07. The jersey that this one is inspired from, I should say.
All right, and I got to tell you, this kind of I don't want to say prove, but accents my point about when the shield matches a color on the jersey, that shield kind of pops more.
Sure.
So
that's fair.
That's the one thing I dig about this. But on this one, I got to tell you, I like the original one better. I like the one without the orange.
I agree. I like the original one better, but I love, again, doing something different because, like you said, like the Oilers, in the last 15 years, they've had, if you count home, away, and third jersey, they've had about
18 different ones in the last couple of years.
They've had about 7 or 8 jerseys that are largely based on the same sort of style.
Mm-hmm.
And so to bring this one back, even though I think the original, the inspiration is better than the Reverse Retro 2.0, but I dig them sort of digging deep into the closet for something that they have only worn for a small portion of their history. And I really dig just the sort of attempt to finally do something different.
the other thing I want to give taps to Edmonton for is that it seemed like they were one of the few teams that listened after 1.0 to what their fans wanted.
Yep.
Because I felt like a lot of fans were screaming for this. So credit to them for that. Let's move on to, oh, baby.
This one is the number one contender for me.
Oh, no, it's absolutely my number one. But the thing is, you talk about what we said earlier, like with Buffalo, Florida understood the assignment.
Yep.
And you remember when 1.0 first came around, I think Florida was in our top 5 for the first go around.
Yep.
And what's funny is at first it was a little bit of a slow burn for me, but the more I looked at it, I went, God damn, they did that really well. The second go around for 2.0, oh baby, a triple. Once on the shoulder of the 98 jersey, the iconic sun, palm tree, and stick logo was moved to center stage of the Panthers 2022 jersey. The light blue color was derived from the team's 09 third jersey and is paired with the current primary colors of navy, yellow, and red. If the Panthers are smart, this becomes their permanent alternate jersey, and they wear it about 20 times a year.
So remember how for Chicago, I had said that they did a really bad job the first time around and then somehow found a way to do it even worse?
Florida did the exact opposite?
Florida's 1.0 jersey was at the very top of my list. And then they basically said, oh, you like that? Well, watch this. And they brought out, for 2.0, another jersey that's at the top of my list just because, like, using, that shade of red and blue, that's, and the, I guess maybe you could call it like a burnt orange maybe, or a yellowish, yellowish
it's the
orange.
sun. Yeah, gotta be yellow.
Yeah, it's San Jose streetlight color. That kind of calls back to the Florida Panthers of the 1990s, which I think is some of their best work in terms of jerseys. And then, you splash in sort of the baby blue. You get the palm tree hockey stick logo there on front. I think this is probably as close to a perfect jersey that you can get. And one of the things that I've talked about specifically with third jerseys is you see a lot of teams whose third jersey is the same color or the same basic design as their primary jersey.
Yeah.
This is not that. So you saying this needs to be the full-time third jersey, the Florida Panthers have not had a third jersey since 2012. I support it 100%.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. And the thing is, who was it that the Florida Panthers had? Was it Ekblad? They had like professional photos of him rocking one of these like on a boat.
Yeah, they had a couple of guys. I know Radko Gudas was there. I know Sasha Barkov was there, and hell of a photo shoot, by the way.
Oh, dude. Here's the thing that kind of pisses me off is that you look at all the photos that came out from Adidas that we're going through. Every team that I saw that posted their own photos all used made in Canada versions.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool to me. Like, why are you posting something that isn't available to buy? F you. Let's move on. LA. Another team that I think I would put up there with Florida and Buffalo, as in they understood the assignment.
Yep, I agree.
1.0. Again, purple needs to be in the NHL a scotch more. They killed it last time with what Jerk liked to call the Frankensteining.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect. Loved this jersey, and they said, like you mentioned earlier, oh, you like that one? Try this on for size. Dude, the King's honor. The 82 uniform celebrating one of the greatest NHL comebacks ever, the Miracle on Manchester. This white jersey features purple and gold trim, royal crown crest sewn with raised gems, and a satin stitch embroidery. I mean, oh, baby.
Yeah, and you know what? So this time around, they didn't really get into the Frankensteining all that much. Obviously with 1.0, they took their They took their 60s, 70s, and 80s color scheme and they threw it onto their 90s jerseys, which I support 100%. This one, they didn't really get into the Frankensteining all that much. It's more so just their jersey from the 80s in white.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's a solid
Should have been purple.
It's still a solid take. Like I really enjoy. It's not a full Frankenstein, but it's something new that we've not seen before. And as you talked about, the NHL needs more purple.
Sure.
And so I think, again, you're sensing a theme here. Buffalo, you mentioned it. Florida, you mentioned it. Colorado, you mentioned it. Hit it out of the park on 1.0, and then when it came to 2.0, they did not shrink at doing it again.
Oh, dude, it was
hit it out of the park again.
The first go around, they hit the bullseye, and with the second go around, the dart hit the same dart.
Yep.
But I do have a couple things to say, just to go back to Florida for a second. Christmas is coming up. I have one word for you when I look at this. Balsers. Oh, baby. All right, let's move on to Minnesota, who did not understand the assignment whatsoever.
I don't know.
All right, hold on. Here's the first one. Let's, all I can think of is, $5 foot long. Now Minnesota said, "Yo, okay, you like that so much? What if we reverse our reverse?"
Hey, some may say that that's a 4-dimensional chess play.
All right. And you know what? Maybe there were a lot of fans that on the first go around said, "Oh, I'd love it more if it was green." I guess. I don't know.
What if it was green?
Yeah. 78 North Stars jersey colors meet the modern wild crest in Minnesota's New Jersey, and with the star and trees of the crest featuring raised dimensional treatments. That's the big thing when they switched over to the prime green stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I want to order a submarine sandwich when I look at this.
So with this,
and the shield really stands out like a sore thumb.
Sure. Now I like paying homage to, again, similar to Colorado did, paying homage to the history of professional hockey in their home market. I support it. Obviously, 1.0 was North Stars inspired. 2.0 is North Stars inspired. I support it. But there's sort of a debate in sports, and obviously you'll know where I'm going with this, but it's the idea that if a team relocates, does the franchise history, does it travel with the franchise, or does it belong to the city? And we've seen kind of both sides of the coin, right? Where I believe it was the Cleveland Browns became the Baltimore Ravens, and all of the Cleveland Browns historical records stayed behind in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you've seen, Winnipeg Jets 1.0 records are in Arizona, and Atlanta Thrashers records are in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg 2.0 is somewhere out there as well. So you've kind of seen both sides of the coins. And with this, because the NHL does not believe that the history belongs to the city, I think it's a bit troubling that Minnesota is using a color scheme that belonged to a different franchise that still exists.
Yeah, I think that's a boner move. We don't know if the Minnesota franchise reached out to the NHL and said, "Hey, can we get permission to do this?" And the NHL were like, "No," or if they reached out to whoever, the powers that control all of this, and say, "Hey, we want to do a North Stars thing. Let us use that logo." And if they said, "Nah," then yeah, it's kind of a dick move. I do want to say though, going back to my original point about the shield. It would pop more if that logo, instead of being orange, was the same yellow.
That's fair.
That would pop.
And it is worth putting out there. Usually, when a team relocates to another city, the NHL will purchase the intellectual property of the former team. So all of the Minnesota North Stars logos, colors, all the IP is actually owned by the NHL, which is why I think they were allowed to do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The one exception to that rule is that part of the Thrashers moving to Winnipeg was that Winnipeg actually purchased all of the Jets 1.0 IP. So
gotcha.
That's kind of the exception to the rule. But usually defunct teams, the NHL will buy the IP. or the trademark to the IP.
The one thing I will say about this jersey, though, is that I do really like the three-dimensional aspects of the crest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do think that kind of pops. But overall, I don't know, bland on both ends for me. Montreal. You remember the first one, which I was like, oh my God, they just flipped these two colors. But again, a jersey that hasn't changed much in like my entire life.
Boring, but not bad was 1.0.
Yeah. A second time around, boring but better.
But not oh, okay.
Boring, but slightly better because, you know, it's the Canadiens 79 uniform from when the team won its 22nd Stanley Cup title comes back to life in a new shade of light blue inspired by the city of Montreal's colors. And let's be honest, very much kind of a nod to the Expos.
Mm-hmm. I support it.
Yeah. Again, oversized jersey on the model. And if the shield is white, oh, that pops.
Yeah, I actually like this better than their 1.0, but that wasn't that hard to do.
Yeah, you are correct, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Nashville. I mean, like the first go around, I was just kind of like, you know, not bad. Like I like that better than their actual current jersey.
Yeah, it's ugly. Their 1.0 was ugly, but I support it.
Yeah, like I thought it was good. Nashville, you done fucked up.
Yeah, it looks like the current jersey with the old crest, which maybe, you know, on some level, I guess you could say that does apply because the jersey that did have that logo, it was more of a Dijon mustard color.
Yeah, so this uniform will feature Predators gold from head to toe. Oh, so this is another one that's going to get the head to toe treatment, including helmet, pant, and socks. Complemented by navy and silver accents, the jersey brings back the famed Pred head crest from the team's 01 original third jersey. Again, I look at this and I'm going, all you had to do was flip the navy and the gold, and this would have been 20 times better.
Yeah, it's a choice for sure.
Yeah, it's like, especially when your first one was, I mean, I get it. They're all in on gold. We get it.
Yeah. But again, going back to what we said before, if you know, retro reverse, third jersey, heritage jersey, whatever terminology you want to use, it should be a color that's a stark contrast from your current home jersey. Mm-hmm. This is not that. They wore a beautiful navy blue and blackish and white jersey in 2010.
I love that.
Why not slap the...
Make a white version of that. Invert it.
Why not slap like the... I guess you could call this the leaping... you know, Sabretooth, why not put that logo on their 2010 navy blue jersey? I mean, again, that would sort of check the boxes of doing something that's different than your home jersey.
Yeah, it's dude, we get it. You're into gold, but like change it up once in a while.
Yeah.
Ugh. Nashville, you continue to never mind.
Whelm.
Yeah, New Jersey. I feel like they understood the assignment the first time around.
Yep, I agree.
The second one, debatable.
You know what's quite interesting about this New Jersey one? So, the Colorado Avalanche paid homage to the Colorado Rockies because of obviously pro hockey in Colorado.
Yeah, and then it says the jersey's description for the Devils says paying homage to the teams past as the Colorado Rockies.
Exactly. So it's kind of interesting to see two teams pay homage in some fashion to the same team.
And so this was my point that I was making earlier, where it was like clearly Detroit and Chicago didn't talk to each other. Clearly Colorado and New Jersey didn't talk to each other.
Here's the thing, though. You've heard me say this a lot. I'm not a fan of this design, but I support the inspiration.
Okay. Islanders. Again, I go back when I saw the Islanders round one.
They did not understand the assignment.
Dude, well, to me, I go back to just like Edmonton. Like I'm like, wait, this isn't already one of their jerseys?
No, but that's the thing. It quite literally was.
Yeah, like, see, this is what I'm saying. So, yeah, you're not understanding it. Like, this needs to be off the beaten path. It needs to be like, whoa, that's different.
Yeah, so, like, you could slice it one of two ways. You could say that their 1.0 was their 2010 to current home jersey in a darker blue, or you could say it's their 1998 to 2007 home jersey in the Adidas version, and you would be correct in both situations. Like, literally the least amount of work went into their 1.0 jersey.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Detroit might have said hold my beer, but go ahead.
No, but here's the thing. And while I understand where you're going with that, Detroit's jersey, it's still their 1.0, still a jersey that's never been seen before.
Gotcha.
I guarantee you go into the team lounge at the Islanders arena, or maybe they have some kind of wall of fame or something. I guarantee you the 1998 to 2007 version of this jersey is on the wall, and they've looked at it and they're like, oh shit, like, man, we really like that.
Again. All right. 2.0, we get the return of the fisherman that I'll
huge.
I was going to say, again, I go back to the idea of just like Edmonton, they listen to their fans.
Yep.
And so the Islanders ring in their 50th season with an ode to their 95 uniform. The fisherman returns on the center crest with raised embroidery details of the fisherman hat, beard, and hands with teal accents in the waves. The head-to-toe navy color scheme is complemented by orange and white angled trim. So it sounds like when the Islanders rock this, again, we seem to see NHL teams embracing the color rush idea, where it's just we're going to pick a color and we're going to just wear the crap out of it head to toe. A lot of people loved the return of this logo. I'm kind of there. I'm like, yeah, I can see this. But the thing that I think they fucked up on is, how do you not put lighthouse patches on the shoulders of this?
Yeah, I agree with that. With this one, so as you said, they listen to the fans for one. For two, they like the step forward from 1.0 to 2.0 was taken with like an explosive trampoline. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a huge step forward, but also going back to what we like to see with these jerseys is the Frankenstein style. They take their 1995 to 1998. 95 to 97 theme, and they mix it together with the 98 to 2010 colors.
Got it.
And I support that because we love the Frankenstein jerseys. I don't think it's a coincidence that in 1.0 and in 2.0, our favorites are all the ones that were Frankenstein to a degree.
Oh, you're right.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
And the Islanders, I got to say, it's another one that dimensional stitching on the crest really makes shit pop.
Yep.
Man, that is such a huge.
All
right. The Rangers, for the most part, I thought understood the assignment the first time.
I disagree 100%.
Well, I mean,
it's retro, but it's not reversed.
Okay, yeah.
It's similar to the Calgary 1.0, where it's an old jersey. They tweaked the stripes on the sleeves and they called it a day.
Yeah, and I got to say that this almost like why did you even bother with sleeve stripes? I mean, they're so meh.
Yeah.
But I think it was just the fact of a lot of fans wanted to see the return of Lady Liberty. So for that, I'll give them props, and I would give them props that they brought it back a second time around, and this time. I feel like a lot of fans said, man, 1.0, if you just would have done this, and then New York went, oh, okay, we'll do that.
Well, see, and so this one...
to me, this is way better than the first one.
I agree. This one is a million times better because if for no other reason, it's because it is reversed and retro.
Hey, now, the lady...
That said, I would have dug, and they only wore it for a short amount of time, but from 76 to 78, they wore sort of a jersey with like the blue color with like a white stripe on the bottom and white on the arms and sleeves. I would have liked that to make a comeback just because similar to the Red Wings, and the jersey and the Montreal Canadiens, the jersey is largely unchanged, decade to decade. Why not, get a little wild,
Let's see, and I'll tell you on this one, let me give the description first. Lady Liberty jersey returns in the Rangers' present color palette. Shoulder patches and crest tie back to the original jersey, while white and silver details create a glistening appearance around the historic New York statue. I'm good with all that. I'm sure in person, that dimensional threading and everything really makes that logo jump. But I look at this and I'm like, okay, big time upgrade over 1.0, but I was kind of like, you know what I think would have hit harder is if you essentially invert all the colors that you use. Like, make the blue that you have here white, make the red that you have here the original blue, and make the stripes red.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be sacrilege if the Rangers had a red jersey?
No, and that's been brought up before too. In fact, when we talked earlier about the Starter Fashion Series, Starter did a red version of this.
There you go.
It's very difficult to find, but it looks awesome.
To me, that's the play.
Yeah. Well, see, I think I would have liked this. I mean, I'm totally down with the red version. I would like to see a white version of this.
Mm-hmm,
you know, white with blue sleeves and red stripes. But moving on. Man, that's a good logo. All right. Ottawa. Now, I liked their first go-around.
I liked it, but they did not understand the assignment.
No. With the 2006 Centurion primary logo on the shoulder patches and the current primary logo on the crest, booyah, the Senators jersey fuses eras to celebrate the uniform of their historic 06-07 run to the final when Erik Karlsson was... No, that doesn't say in there. The original version of the jersey was the team's first third in 97, which featured less curved stripes and adornments. This to me is a bit of a Frankenstein because if I remember correctly, that number font did not go with this jersey. I believe the number font went with the jersey that had like those little, I don't even know what those leaves are, the gold thing that makes up half the circle. It actually goes along the bottom of the crest or the bottom of the jersey around the waist.
Yeah, you know what? This is an interesting jersey for me. So,
and I'm not a fan of that number font.
Well, see, I like the number. Okay. I like the number font just because it's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the design of the jersey because, as you said, it's paying homage to, the year they went to the Stanley Cup final, which I support that. But I think I like this jersey. Don't get me wrong. I think it's better than 1.0. I think I would like it a lot more if their current home jersey wasn't also black.
Good point. You think they maybe should have went red again?
But then here's the problem. It's kind of a sort of a cat, six in one hand, half a dozen in the other, where if it's red, then it's not reversed. It's just a retro jersey. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of had a small sort of window to operate in, and they've done 3 versions of the barber pole with the O on front, so they can only do that one so many times.
True that.
So I don't know.
I don't know. You know what I would have liked to have seen an inversion of the O jersey. My favorite jersey.
There's 3 of them though.
Oh well, fuck. Do another one then.
Like they could literally have a full uniform kit with just those jerseys.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. This one, I like it. I like it a lot.
To me, it's a step back. I like the first one better.
Okay, and I respect that. But isn't the first their 1.0 not just like a reverse of their current home jersey?
I don't care.
Like what? Like it's reverse, but not retro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care. I go back to which one would I buy? I'd buy that first one.
That's fair.
Philly, here's another one where I sit there and go, I abstain from the exercise.
Their 1.0 was ugly, but the inspiration, I think they hit it out of the park.
No, okay. For this one, I'd go second generation with Philly on this, revisiting their years as repeat Cup champions, 73, 74, 74, 75. The Flyers jersey is nearly all white with black and orange accents, features a thin black outline surrounding the crest to match the one worn in 1974. Again, this is another one where I kind of look at it and I go, they didn't already wear this before?
It does look very similar.
I feel that way about just every Philly jersey.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and as I said on our 1.0 show,
they are consistent.
Yeah, every jersey Philly's ever worn is ugly, but
do they have a secondary logo?
No, dude. The secondary logo is their current logo in different like colors.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And you know what? The one redeeming quality, which I think this is a lateral move for me compared to 1.0, but the one redeeming quality here is that it has more black.
Yeah, and I think with the contrast of the white, I think it pops. But I tell you though, if you stare at that Flyers logo long enough, you almost sit there and go, did you punch in like Detroit Red Wings logo and AI tried to draw it and that's what they came up with? Not one that stands out for me. Pittsburgh. All right.
We love their 1.0.
Really? See, I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's really bland, but again, I'm one of those people where I don't like ward marks on jerseys unless
That's fair.
like that. To me, that, like I said, I think the Rangers own the copyright on that. I don't like seeing other teams do it. I think I'm not a fan of the Barracuda black jerseys with that because of that reason.
So the one thing I like about their 1.0, and we've said it a lot, it's reverse and it's retro.
Sure.
They understood the assignment.
And I don't like any of those jerseys.
Sure,
So,
and that's fair. I support that.
all right. So Pittsburgh, again, listen to the fans like Edmonton did, like New York did. Boom. Robo Penguin back in the house. The streamed line Penguins jersey worn by Mario and Yager throughout most of their 90s run together resurfaces with the additional gold and white stripe accents on the sleeve. The penguin crest has dimensional embroidery raising the shadow of the penguin head and wings. The only thing, of course, missing from this is that horizontal gradient, but somebody posted on social media that I believe Starter did exactly this back in the 90s as a fashion jersey. So I thought that was kind of funny, but no, this huge step forward from the last one for Pittsburgh, in my opinion.
I think so. I think like comparing the jerseys individually, 1.0 and 2.0, I like them both. Comparing them on their own, I like them both. However, I am of the belief Robo Penguin is top 5 hockey logos of all time.
I'll give you that. I
And
co-sign.
so to bring Robo Penguin back, like you said, they listen to the fans.
It's huge.
It's huge.
This needs to be the permanent third jersey.
Right. They listened to the fans and they brought it back. And you know what? The Penguins, they brought back Robo Penguin, which I love. Here's my complaint, and it's a very teeny tiny complaint. Their home jersey is black with the Pittsburgh gold. Their third jersey is black with the Pittsburgh gold. Their reverse retro 2.0, black with Pittsburgh gold. Now, all three have different logos, and they're all unique and interesting in their own way. Robo Penguin obviously being the cream of the crop, but black with the Pittsburgh gold accents, we've seen it before. And I know we're gonna have to call an ambulance for you after I say this, but the baby blue is rooted heavily in Pittsburgh Penguins history, and I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I think if they really wanted to melt a lot of people's brains, Robo Penguin in the baby blue style, I think would have been a number one seller for 2.0.
What about if they use, instead of this bright yellow, if they use that gold from like the previous Penguins jerseys from like, the 2016 Stanley Cup?
It's a different take, which I understand where you're going with that. However, the reason that Pittsburgh switched from that gold to Pittsburgh gold is because that gold is actually the official Swatch name is Vegas gold.
Oh, crap. Okay.
And so the reason why Pittsburgh switched was to accommodate Vegas. And so, nobody wants to accommodate Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them kids.
I still say, baby blue and even navy blue, either one. It's been rooted in Penguins history for, from 67 to 1980.
Yeah, I'm picking that up.
We got a baby blue Robo Penguin. I think we need Puck Guy to whip that up just to say that it's out there. Because I think that should have been their play. That said, step forward for me just because Robo Penguin is one of the best logos of all time.
All right. Oh, here we fucking go.
Who?
Oh, San Jose. Now, I liked the 1.0. I liked it a lot. And I think one of the reasons why I liked it so much is that it was it's got the original logo, of course, which I love. It's a nod to possibly, I know a lot of people love the first jersey. Don't get me wrong. I love the OG 91, 96 era Sharks jersey, but the second generation jersey I think was always my favorite. Owen Nolan, Mike Ricci, the Vinny Damphus, that 2000 team that destroyed Chris Pronger in a President's Trophy winning St. Louis Blues team. Love that jersey. So I think that's one of the reasons why I really loved this. However, I've always wondered, and I've never gotten a straight answer. I've always wondered, did the Sharks go this route because 1.0 happened to fall the same year that they were doing their 30th anniversary, so they already had a heritage jersey? Makes me wonder if they would have done like a black version of the heritage jersey or a gray.
It's certainly possible. I mean, it's certainly possible that was a consideration, but I do know this, not to, I don't want to give too much inside baseball, but we know, me and you, we know that this jersey design had been in the can since mid 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it was in the can since then. We know that at that time, the Sharks were interested in exploring using more gray, which is why I believe around that time, and obviously Eric Landy could confirm that because he actually received this email, but they had sent out a survey about jerseys and what colors that the fans wanted to see going forward. And I know at that time, like I said, mid 2019, there was a strong debate on whether or not to make gray more of a focal point, but also this jersey was in the hopper for a while. And so is it possible that decision was made because they knew it was going to be during the 30th season when they would bring back the OG heritage? I mean, it's certainly possible, but
I will say though, when I look at this, I do love it. I'm wearing one right now, but I will say, man, if you invert the black and the gray, I think it would explode.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, but I don't know. I just think maybe it was a consideration, but it's also worth mentioning that this jersey, again, it dropped in, I believe, January 2021 is when the first time they wore it, and it was in the hopper long before that.
Yeah. So, oh, dear Lord. Again, way oversized. Can we get the model a jersey that fits? The typography and colors of the 1974 California Golden Seals, the Bay Area's first NHL team, merged with the new Sharks wordmark. I mean, we broke this news, I don't know how long ago, that this was what was going to be coming down the pipe. Well, long before Fanatics fucked up.
This was and we, kind of had one ear to the ground on this one because this was actually the rumored 1.0 for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew since about mid 2019 what the 1.0 was going to maybe look like, but there were a lot of whispers about this design as well.
And again, this is another one, or this is another instance of a team listening to fan outcry. A lot of fans were asking for one of these. Again, I don't like word marks, and I think this jersey hits hot if you flip the teal and the white.
Yeah, so I showed this to my fiance, and she said the exact same thing. She said that, well, she has an interesting way of describing things. I showed it to her, and she said it was embarrassing. Which I don't know that I agree with that. I think that's a bit extreme, but I do agree with you. I agree with her. I agree with a lot of people. I think it would have been cool to see, again, a teal version as opposed to a white version. But again, goes back to what I said before. If you have a alternate jersey that's a similar color to your home jersey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and Tyga pointing out something that I actually now that Tiger points it out, I'm like, yeah, that's a great fucking point. As he says, it's hilarious how many non-Sharks fans really love this jersey. And I'm thinking, yeah, and the opposite is true. I know a lot of Sharks fans that looked at this and said, yeah, this might be the only Sharks jersey I don't buy.
Here's what I'm wondering, and this goes back. This is another question I have for you. So obviously, the California Seals, Oakland Seals, whatever you want to refer to them as, before the Seals wore the teal jersey that has the white and the yellow accenting to it, they wore a green jersey that has yellow accenting to it. Now, my question for you, and for anybody who's curious, you can look it up on the internet.
You're talking about one that is very similar to like if the Oakland A's played hockey, right?
Yeah. So what my question for you is, say the Golden Seals jersey from 73 to 74, the green primary with the yellow accents, but you make that Seals font say Sharks. Is it sacrilege for the Sharks to wear a color that's not teal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fair. Again, maybe we'll need Puck Guy to whip that up and see what that looks like, but
I wouldn't have. See, I think this, I don't want to say it would like be a hit out of the park, but I think it would hit harder if you actually took like the Golden Seals crest versus a word mark. And
so like the one from like 67 to 70, you mean?
I'd have to see it, but probably. Don't they have one where it's like a full circle because it's Oakland, and they have another one where the circle's broke because it was California? Like you go with the California one. Like the logo that they put on those green shirts that they gave away during the Seals promotion a season or two ago. That logo. But do it in the colors that match this.
Yeah, and you know what? I think with this we'll need to see it with full gear and on the ice and stuff. But
see, now that makes me wonder: are they going to go full white on this, like white breezers, white pants, white skates, white gloves, white lids, top to bottom?
I
like very much like Dallas did with their 1.0.
Personally, I think that would look really ugly, but I think they need to do it.
Agreed. So yeah, that's. Again, this is another one where it's like, man, I got to see this in person. I'll tell you the jersey that I would go with if you're going to do a reverse thing. Just go with that. Just make the teal and white and make the white teal, and you're fine.
Can I be controversial?
Whip it out.
I like the 2.0 jersey.
The Seals thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm rolling the dice that people will be so uninterested in it that maybe a stripped team issue will find its way into my collection.
Oh, dude. Order 2, please.
Mm-hmm.
Christine asking, why does the teal look turquoise? I think probably because it might be a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say the Seals teal is a bit more
aqua.
I was going to say watery.
Yeah.
Like representing water than the Sharks teal is.
Also, don't discount that the fact that it's next to another color that can create kind of an optical illusion, because I know when I saw the Edge jerseys, 2007 when they switched and then they added orange, I'm like, why do our jerseys look green now? Mm-hmm, and a lot of times it had to do with the fact that the color orange was on there, and it kind of threw my my peepers out of whack.
Sure.
So, any hoodles, for those of you interested, the Sharks will be whipping these out 6 times this year, but only 4 times at SAP. Sad. But you can see them for the first time on Black Friday versus the Kings, and then December 7th, December 9th, the 13th, the 27th, and the 29th. So basically what I'm saying is if you hate them, well, once the calendar flips to 2023, you never have to see them again, so you're fine.
Huge.
I would like to see more of an effort, though, that when one team wears their retros, the other team wears theirs as well. But
I agree. So leave that schedule up for a second.
Sure.
What you just said, I agree with that, and that's what when 1.0 was like getting ready to be dropped, that's what we were told was that, and I believe, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when you spoke to Jonathan Becker about 1.0, he had mentioned that the plan was to see reverse retros face off against each other.
Yeah, I do believe that was the plan, and then I don't know, somebody messed up.
Here's the other thing, and this is really getting into the jersey minutia, so bear with me here, but when the Edmonton Oilers wore in 2018-19, they wore their 40th anniversary jersey. They only wore it against former Smythe Division opponents.
See, now I like that, and if you go back to the 25th anniversary for the Sharks, do you remember that the Heritage jersey was only supposed to be worn 4 times?
It was supposed to be 3. They got it up to 5, and they wore it against Pittsburgh, Detroit, Ottawa,
was like Columbus and so because
Columbus, and I don't remember the fifth one.
But my biggest complaint when they rolled out the schedule for the 25th jersey was I go, wait a minute, they're whipping out their heritage jersey, and I'm like, 2 of the 3 teams that they're playing in these didn't exist when the Sharks wore these. Like, how stupid is that? And then it seemed like after some fan outcry, all of a sudden it was like, yeah, we might need to add Detroit to this list just because of the feels and the memories of '94. Like, somebody fucked up somewhere, but at least they did get it right eventually.
And so, you know what? Obviously, I was not alive in 1975. And you were very young in 1975, so
little nerd.
So obviously, you know, I don't think this is our, you know, frame of reference, obviously, but I'd be, if anybody was either alive that's listening or they're familiar with the history, I would like to know, you know, maybe if the Seals had any big rivals, and, you know, maybe this is kind of a far out there thing, but in, you know, 74 and 75,
they did have a rival with winning.
Right. But, you know, the two seasons that the Seals wore this jersey, they shared a division with Boston, Buffalo, and Toronto.
Oh.
So I think, you know, it's not the sexy pick for the Sharks, but I think if you really want to steer into the historical element of it,
hell yeah.
I think they should be wearing the Seals inspired jersey against those 3 teams.
Dude, I would love to. Oh, well, shit. This and the Buffalo one is white.
Right, and that's the problem. But I think, you know, and
Toronto
how many
game would be fun.
And how many games are they wearing this? You said it's 6, correct?
6.
Okay, so why not? So why not do Toronto, Buffalo, and Boston? You only play them twice each, so you could do it. You could do it right there. You could do all 6 right there.
Yeah, it's 6, but they do it against Vancouver twice. Who wrote that down?
Right, but what I'm saying is, so, you know, it's Boston, Buffalo, Toronto. You play each team twice. That's 6 right there. So you could do that. Or if you want to spread it out a little bit more, you could do it once each against those 3 teams. And then, you know, if you want to do the easy one, you could do Vegas, LA, and Anaheim, and then call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, and let's also point out the insane silliness of everything surrounding this. The fact that, first off, Fanatics, if you'll remember, leaked 20 of the 32 designs like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. So that kind of put that fire out. But then they have 24 hours of building hype, right, on the 19th. They're putting out teaser videos throughout the day and blah, blah, blah. And then the whole thing, tomorrow morning, you know, 8 o'clock Pacific, you know, they do the whole full release. And then you go, you're all ass on fire, right? Like, oh, my God, I can't believe it. You go to NHL Shop or Fanatics, they don't have anything for sale. Everything is fucking pre-order, and it's not even on the Fanatics site. Like, all the pre-orders were on the team sites that mostly aren't run by Fanatics. How do you screw that up? Could you imagine? This is why Dick's Sporting Goods, and I guarantee you this will happen this year like it's happened every other fucking year, is that when whoever wins the World Series in a week and a half from now or whenever it is, that the night that game, that whoever is crowned champion, they will literally be able to drive to their nearest Dick's and buy the championship shirt that the players were just wearing on their TV 20 minutes earlier. Right? Mm-hmm. And yet they build up all this hype. They knew it was coming. And here's the release on October 20th. Great. When can we get one? Like today? No, you have to wait a month. They'll be out on the 15th of November.
Well, dude, we knew about Reverse Retro 2.0 12 months ago.
Oh, yeah. No. I get that. But just the fact that you finally do all of this release, you put it out to the public. Here's all the designs. Aren't these amazing? Yes, I want a hat and a shirt and a jersey. Oh, well, sorry, you got to wait a month for that. Then why the hell did you tell me?
No, but that's my point. We knew about it 12 months ago.
Yeah,
why did it not drop on day one?
Exactly. Just it's dumbest business marketing ever. Let's move on because I could talk about that all day. Seattle. I mean, you didn't have a 1.0, so there was nowhere to go but up. I got to tell you, I really like this jersey.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's horrible.
No, I like it too.
Like I would buy this instead of their current jersey.
I support. I'm with you on that 100%. Here's my complaint. Why? And again, don't get it sideways. I like the jersey, but why is this not the Kraken color scheme on a Seattle Metropolitans jersey?
Yep.
And now, yes, this jersey, it's partially inspired from the Seattle Metropolitans. I understand that. But if you look at the Seattle Metropolitans, that shit was basically a candy cane on a jersey.
You right? Yeah, so dude, it's a missed opportunity. But I still love the Kraken S description on this. Sophomore season, the Kraken highlight the team's sea green color in the body of the jersey. Below it, the S crest is submerged in the navy striped sea, where the Kraken's red eye peaks just above the surface. Again, I don't know why, but I dig this, and I
dig it too. Again, don't get it sideways. I dig this.
Yeah, one. but I like it. This needs to become their like third jersey after this.
Yeah, I support it,
anyway.
And especially because, again, like we talked about, this is a jersey where they've made one of their secondary colors the primary color.
Yeah, I do. Again, though, I do think it's kind of a miss. Like, it would have been really cool if they would have come up with like a new secondary logo for the shoulders.
Yeah, or and again, like, okay, this is so out there. So like, bear with me. So, are you familiar with the Seattle Metropolitans logo? How it's the it's the letter S, and then it's written, Seattle is written in the S.
Yeah, and yeah.
So okay,
kind of vertically, right?
Yeah. So I've got two suggestions for you. Number one, that logo in the Kraken color scheme, or that concept, but instead of saying an S that says Seattle, it's a K that says Kraken.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd co-sign that. Super chat. Thank you, Skylar.
Skylar, shout out.
Skylar, following teams played the Seals. Original 6 teams: Kings, Flyers, Pens, Blues, Canucks, Sabres. Sharks will play a few of those teams. All right.
See, I think it's got to be, going back to that real quick, I think it's Boston, Buffalo, Toronto. Those are your Seals divisional opponents. I think it's got to be those 3. The Seals' final game was against the LA Kings, so that's 4.
Cool.
Your other 2, maybe you do Vegas and Anaheim, Vegas and Vancouver.
I would totally do Vegas, since Vegas is black.
Okay.
And there's the current history, if you will.
Sure.
Is that an oxymoron?
Did somebody say Game 7?
Oh, dude. When they're playing the Rangers this week, as soon as I heard the name Barclay Goodrow, I went, here we fucking go. Cue up the clip, boys. All right, St. Louis. A lot of people hated this, and I was one of those people. No, I'm kidding. I didn't think it was horrible, but I was just like, I mean, they understood the assignment.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was retro, and they reversed it, and a lot
quite literally, actually.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I mean, do what you do. But again, I think they step forward. The Blues honor their inaugural jersey, presented in 1966, which was a prototype worn by the ownership of the club a year before the team hit the ice. The gold and blue pairing is inspired by the Blues' third jersey and other vintage uniforms, including the 17 and 22 Winter Classics. Dude, I like this. I love the logo. It has that just such a music vibe to it. Like there's like if you look at this jersey and you replace the word St. Louis with like New Orleans or Chicago, like I think it works. The Chicago Blues, the New Orleans Blues, places that you can go to hear good blues music. Sure. I just dig this.
That's fair. And you know what? I think maybe what kind of gave me some pause is when you said that it was better than their 1.0.
I think it is.
I don't think that it's better, but I don't think that it's worse either. I think these guys, St. Louis, it's similar to Colorado, Florida, Los Angeles, Buffalo, they hit big on both. You know what I mean? And personally, like, I think, again, we've talked about it. I think the color yellow is one of the worst colors in the rainbow, but again, it's not. You know how many times they've worn a jersey primarily yellow? 0.
Yeah. So
that's a point for them.
Yep.
This crest, never been seen before. That's a point.
Yep. And I love the single musical note.
Yeah, it's unlike anything they've ever worn before. So I'm not ready to say that it's better than 1.0, but I can comfortably say it's as good as 1.0. It's right there.
All right. See, and again, I go back to which one would I buy if given the choice. I totally get this one. Now, would this hit a little harder if maybe you invert the white and the yellow? Perhaps.
But they've worn white jerseys all throughout history.
I know, but it's just, you look at Nashville, Buffalo, like, God damn, there's a lot of yellow in the league. But anyway.
That's fair.
But I think they did a great job. Tampa, for me, this was one of the 1.0 version. I'm like, holy crap, is this bland as crap? And again, very much kind of like, wait, don't they already wear this?
So I think with 1.0, I think Tampa understood the assignment, but the jersey itself was ugly.
There you go. I will co-sign that. Second time around, again, I think listening to fan outcry, this jersey features rain, sea, and lighting, sublimated in full-size graphics across the jersey with lightning bolts down the side of the pants. That's going to look cool. Pays homage to the original 97 Storm third jersey with an electric-styled font. I will tell you, I love this.
Me too.
I absolutely dig it. The only thing that I think would make it better, hear me out, is if it didn't have the rain. Like if it was a solid white base, but you have the thunderbolts on the sleeves and the water at the bottom, I think it hits even harder without the rain.
I think it's funny. This jersey is so ugly that it's beautiful.
Okay, then. Yeah, it's up there. This is kind of, I don't know. For me, this is the 2.0 version of Anaheim's 1.0.
Yeah, and Puck, I made that same point as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, that's just embracing the silliness of the 90s.
Yeah, I support it. I love that, and
dude, I mean, lean into it.
Yeah, and white is an interesting jersey choice because, like, obviously you wear white on the road, it's your away jersey, but it's always kind of interesting when teams choose a white alternate. But I think in this case,
it kicks, dude.
It's.
And remember that you're talking about you wear your whites on the road. Remember, the Sharks are wearing their white seals 4 times at home, so you can negotiate with the other teams and make sure that worked out. Like a couple of years ago, like Carolina did a whole trip along the West Coast and wore their reds.
Yeah, and actually what was really cool about that, which I think we need to see more of, is when Carolina played Anaheim, Carolina wore their red jersey and Anaheim wore their home jerseys that were black and orange. So we had like the double primary kind of situation going.
Oh,
and I think we need to see more of that.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's move on to Toronto. It's going to take them maybe 5-6 times to get this right.
Is that one? See, they did such a bad job multiple times. I don't even know if that's 1.0 or 2.0.
That's 1.0.
Yeah, if you say so.
You're right. Now, the weird thing is that when you look at this at 1.0 in this photo, you really don't notice the gray so much.
Right, it looks white.
Yeah, but there's a lot more gray in it. So 2.0, it says, honoring their 61-62 Stanley Cup winning uniform, the Maple Leafs crest is recreated with vintage single needle stitching. A new narrow shoulder yoke with pointed seam construction was specifically created to match the original sweater. I mean, I like the second one more than the first one, with the exception of, I don't know. I think if you just take out the words Maple Leafs out of the crest, you just leave the Toronto, maybe that works. Or I don't know if it's just this photo, but it looks like that word mark on the leaf just, I don't know, it looks so cartoony to me.
Boring. Not a fan. Let's look at it. It's the same. It's not quite the same crest logo, but it's very similar. It's the same primary logo. It's the same similar striping. Like, the jerseys that the Maple Leafs wore, let's say early 2000s, mid 2000s, late 2000s, boring as hell. But at least those were different,
Yeah, I got to tell you, when it comes to the Leafs, the only things they seem to be able to do well are like the Stadium Series jerseys.
Yeah, those ones are really nice. Their Heritage Classic was nice. The Centennial Classic was nice.
Yeah,
Stadium Series, Winter Classic was going on. My question for you, let me ask you this. So since 2019, the Maple Leafs have worn their St. Pat's jerseys every St. Patrick's Day. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on and you know what? If you want to use this Maple Leafs jersey, whatever, I support it. But what are your thoughts on the Maple Leafs jersey with the crest and the striping and the whole deal
in green and white
in the St. Pat's colors?
I think it'd at least be different.
I think that's
the play.
That's it. That's it, if you ask me. Because again, it goes back to what I said before. You have a retro jersey, retro reverse, third, heritage, alternate, whatever terminology you want to use. If it's the same color as your primary jersey, why should I care?
Hey, now. The one thing I also want to say about this, when it comes to the Toronto ones, first off, this photo of 1.0, that is such a horrible photo just because look at the way the sleeves kind of taper down with your arms like they should, but then the waist like flares out like a dress.
Mm-hmm.
Like bad look. But look where the shield is on 1.0 and then look where it is on 2.0. Like wait a minute, wasn't that supposed to be higher in the neckline?
Well, you know what else is really weird? So you were talking about how for all of the models, like for their jerseys, they could go a size down. I think this person here needs to go a size up.
Perhaps. See, I look at this and I think, oh, they finally got one wearing the correct size.
Maybe.
But all right, let's move on to Vancouver, which feels like wasn't that the one we knew about the longest?
See,
was that the first league?
With 1.0, Vancouver understood the assignment.
Yes.
They took their current color scheme and they applied it to their 01 to 06 third jersey. They completely understood the assignment. Full send.
And then what happened? Inspired by the Canucks 62 uniform of the former WHL, the reverse retro jersey features a recreation of the 60s Johnny Canuck icon on the center crest. Matching the original jersey, player numbers appear on the left chest and right shoulder only. That's a little weird.
Front numbers.
Yeah, they suck.
You know what? I don't like this jersey.
I hate the design. I hate the logo. There's not one thing about this that I like.
What about the inspiration?
Don't care.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. And I do, the one thing I will appreciate it though about 1.0 versus 2.0 when it comes to the hype about this, at least they took color accurate photos of 1.0. 2.0, there's all these hues and sometimes it's hard to get an actual take on what the colors actually are,
Right. See, I think I like this because it's a different blue than their home jersey, which I like. The inspiration I like.
Does the Abbotsford team already use this as a
they use something very similar.
Yeah, so that's why I was just no. You got it. And let's be honest,
the design sucks for sure.
Well, dude, everybody wants the skate.
Yeah, could you imagine? Okay,
you put the skate logo on this, and I'm in.
Okay, I was gonna say talking about Frankensteining and everything. The Canucks they've had three very distinct color schemes, right?
Do not go to the Flying V, bro.
No. But what I was going to say is imagine the skate jersey. I think the skate logo, I think you're onto something with the skate logo.
Absolutely.
But imagine the skate logo either in the current color scheme or in that like navy blue, burgundy, early 2000s color scheme.
Yeah, either one. I'm all in.
I would co-sign that.
Yeah, I think they got to bring back the skate. That to me, this was Fanatics.
That was their heritage jersey for their 50th anniversary.
Yeah, dude. Canucks. They took a step back.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
All right. VGK. Okay, so I mean,
loved 1.0.
Obviously, they didn't have all the history to draw upon, but what they did, I think they did a good job. I liked 1.0 simply because, again, I don't want to say understood the assignment per se, but at least they came up with something very different. They used the least used color in their palette and made it the feature.
I love that.
Yeah, they made the shoulder patch the feature on the crest. That was a great idea. It definitely has kind of an Excalibur vibe going on here. So I thought that they did a really good job with 1.0 considering what they had to work with.
Well, so here's the thing with 1.0. So I'm with you. They made the red primary, which is awesome. They made the shoulder logo the primary, which is awesome. We love both of those things for them. But what I really enjoyed, to your point, is, Vegas, they don't have a lot of NHL history at that time and now. So what I thought that, what they did, because if you go on Google and you type Las Vegas Thunder, who played in the IHL in the 90s.
Yep.
Their jerseys were like a teal, purple, sort of white color, but the design of their jerseys exactly like Vegas's 1.0. So I like, hey, you know what? We don't have a lot of NHL history. Let's pay homage to Las Vegas hockey history. And so I really dug that. And, for different reasons, 1.0 understood the assignment, and these were one of my favorites.
All right. So let's look at 2.0 inspired. Oops, I'm sorry. The Golden Knights created a jersey whose design imagines what a Golden Knights third jersey might have looked like in 1995. Sure. Features a Vegas diagonal wordmark and glitzy font inspired by vintage hotel signage on the strip. I got to tell you, if Florida is my numero uno, this might, and I would say probably LA is number 2 for me. Maybe Arizona. This is definitely in my top 3.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the diagonal word marks and all that, but for some reason, this works for me because it reminds me of kind of like a neon sign. And then the fact that the letters glow in the dark, I mean, dude. And I love the, the Stardust for the inspired logos for the number fonts. Like, I gotta say, dude, I thought they did a really good job with this.
Yeah, you know what? I really like this jersey. I did kind of question, what is reverse about it.
I mean, bro.
Right. No, and
you're gonna tell me that T-Mobile isn't just gonna have the lights completely out when they roll these things?
Oh, they totally are, dude.
Yeah.
And I do really like these jerseys. Like you said, it sort of pays homage to the lore surrounding Las Vegas, the city, which I like. I do really like these jerseys. I personally think I like 1.0 better, only because 1.0 was a reverse of something, and it was also took inspiration from something related to hockey.
Oh, okay, so I get what you're saying. So this is what I'm saying is that as a reverse retro doesn't fulfill the assignment, as an alternate, like a brand new alternate, slays.
Love it.
Yeah. Christine saying smart design. They can sell it to the rando tourists who want Vegas souvenirs. Absolutely. Dude, absolutely. So but I got to tell you, that glow in the dark thing, I'm like, you motherfuckers, you guys just keep...
have they released their schedule? Or when they're going to wear it?
I can dive into the depths here and see, because it's like, what are you going to be buying, some tickies?
Well, so the Sharks are going to be here.
I got you.
Sharks are going to be here in November, and I believe they're going to be here in March.
Yeah, but they aren't wearing
February.
it. They're not wearing it versus the Sharks. They are actually going to roll these out in 8 games this season. But oddly enough, like I pointed out early, the Sharks are wearing them in 6, but only 4 times at home. Vegas is wearing these 8 times at home. Canucks, Flyers, Islanders, Preds, Kings, Oilers, Stars, Capitals. So they're also not playing the same team twice in any of these.
Interesting.
And dude, I got to be honest, I'd be shocked because we already saw that they announced that the golds are going to be their new primaries.
Correct.
And that the old charcoals are going to be their thirds. Dude, next year, I guarantee you, charcoals are going by. This will be the next third.
Well, and I think you could make the argument similar to Carolina, where this almost feels like a backdoor way into introducing a permanent third jersey.
Yep. Exactly that. One more thing, though, I want to point out. This is something that I only saw with Vegas, at least on social media. This is the thing that, of course, bums me out. The advertising patch. Because of that V, and we already saw that the advertising patch has always been in the upper right, but now that V gets in the way, so they had to move it up to the shoulder. And I got to tell you, if we have to have an advertisement, I like it better there on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have your secondary logo on one, put the ad on the other side, done and done. Like if you have to do it.
You know, and they beta tested that during the World Cup of Hockey, and you didn't really hear any outcry whatsoever.
Dude, remember my jersey? I went out and got a goddamn SAP patch to put on it.
Right.
I was like, yeah, I want it to be authentic. All right, Capitals.
Fail. Well, no,
dude. To me, it's like let's copy the last jersey, but let's do it on a black and white printer.
Yeah. So you know what? So their 1.0. They understood the assignment, obviously, because beautiful design. They did it in the modern color scheme. I love it. I support it. But again, it goes back to what I said before. Your jersey is the same color as your home jersey. What are you doing? That's really my only complaint with 1.0.
Well, I mean, to me, it's like they just took the old, let's take the reverse retro jersey, put it in the 90s colors, call it a day.
Well, and here's the thing. So obviously the Capitals 2.0, I love that jersey. That's an awesome jersey. And it is a retro jersey, but, you know, I guess it's kind of reversed. I mean, the inspiration was the blue with the black and brown sort of accents. So I guess on that level it is reverse and retro. But to your point, it's the same as 1.0 in a different color.
Yeah. To me, this just, again, smacks of starter fashion series.
Sure.
But it says, Screaming Eagle makes a comeback again against an all-black colorway in the new Capitals New Jersey. Asymmetrical striping, unconventional font, new blue and copper colors were influenced by the 05 uniform. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I'm like bottom 5. Piss off.
Offended.
Oh, dude, so offended. All right, Winnipeg. I gotta, the first go-around seemed to offend a lot of people.
It's, their 1.0 was like, this is going to sound weird. The jersey itself was ugly. It's very ugly. Well,
I think if you flip the blue and the gray, it's actually really nice.
It's not, here, it's hard for me to explain. It's not a bad jersey, but it's just very weird. It's very basic. You know what I mean?
It's very Columbus to me.
Sure. That's fair.
So, did they take a step forward? To me, hell yeah.
It's well, yes. Generally speaking, it is a step forward. It's a step forward because
because there was such a small step to take to go forward.
Exactly. This one, just the fact that it's not primarily gray is a step forward. They use the original Winnipeg Jets logo, which I love so much that they whipped that one out.
But a lot of people upset that the jet is blue and not red.
Oh, wah. Boo-hoo. Like, honestly, like, it's, it's you just looking at this, you can tell this is the 1990 to 1996 Winnipeg Jets jersey with no red in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I dig it, and if they want to get wild and wear red pants, I support it.
Well, dude, Winnipeg known for that whiteout shit.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. I think
this is, to me, like, it's a step forward. Like, I don't hate the first jersey.
Me neither.
It's just
basic.
Yeah. But I like the second one, and it says the Jets ditched the red in their new jersey, highlighting royal blue, featuring a bright white color base. 22 reverse retro jersey design was prompted by the 90 jersey, the inaugural year of the uniform worn by Timo Solani when he broke the rookie goal scoring record in 92-93. So there you have it. That's all of them. Again, so when you see them all together on one palette, I'm thinking, like, just based on creativity, I mean, you could probably get into the comparison of, 1.0 to 2.0, but if you're like, okay, I can only pick up 5 of these, for me, it's, Florida is definitely number 1 for me. I'll just give you my 5 in no particular order.
Sure.
But Florida is definitely going in my bag, or add to cart, if you will. God, I hate this. I hate to say it, but that fucking Vegas jersey.
Yeah.
I just love the nod to old time Vegas. I think I'm gonna have to throw that Tampa Bay in there. Add to cart. I think this is gonna blow your mind, but I might have to throw that Blues one. Add to cart. And finally, God, you know what? I'm having a hard time deciding between Robo Penguin and the Kings, but you know what? I'm putting Robo Penguin in the cart because in my mind, during 1.0, I added the Kings to cart back then.
I hear that.
What how about you?
It's hard to say
you're,
because
you're obviously going Florida.
Florida for sure. I'm trying to look at it like in the the little groupings they're in, Florida. Okay, I just want to say as an aside, I will be getting a Sharks one, but I'm not counting it in my top 5 because that's obvious.
Yeah, well, I will probably get a Sharks one if I get MIC because that's the only way I'm getting one of these.
That's fair. So Florida, obviously. Arizona, obviously.
So yeah. Again, the only reason why I didn't choose it is because in my mind I already got the purple one hanging in my closet.
That's fair. I'm gonna say Florida, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Vegas, Dallas.
You're not going Tampa?
That's my 5. Tampa's an honorable mention. Buffalo's an honorable mention. LA's an honorable. Shit, man. 5's not enough.
Dude, I got to say Boston's kind of an honorable one for me.
God damn it, dude. Why is my honorable mention list as long as the actual list?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the only way you can get around it is, like, if you actually do it in batches. Like, the batch of 4 in the upper left, taking Florida. Batch of 4 in the middle, I'm taking Tampa.
Yep.
Batch of 4, or the batch of 3 in the upper right, I'm going Pooh Bear. You're going Buffalo, right? I
think, my gut says Buffalo, but I think I could be sweet talked into Anaheim.
All right. Left, middle. See that, dude, I'm right
Arizona
there.
For me.
Yeah, and I'm right there between Arizona and St. Louis going, God damn it. Like, if 1.0 doesn't exist,
yeah,
I'm totally going Phoenix.
Sure.
Get back to me on that. In the middle one, so is the Sharks part of the center group or part of the right group?
I think they're part of the right.
Okay. So in that middle batch, dude, it's Kraken all day.
I was going to say, in the middle, I think I'm flipping a coin between Seattle and Dallas.
All right. And then the batch to the right,
Sharks.
Sharks, but only by, like, lesser of all evils.
Sure.
Bottom left, New York all day, Rangers.
Oh, you know what? Can I take both Dallas and Seattle and take nothing from that group?
I'll allow it. Dude, middle group, Vegas, but
it's got to be Pittsburgh for me.
I was gonna say, dude, that's a coin tosser. But,
and all the OG TTG listeners are gonna hear me pick Pittsburgh and then die because whatever.
And then finally, LA all day.
Oh, dude, LA in my sleep.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. I mean, that was essentially a separate show that we should probably cut into its own thing.
Probably. I mean, this was like the Pucknologists
takeover reverse retro some shit.
Yeah, it was like Pucknologists Jersey jargon after dark something.
Yeah, we hope you're still hanging with us.
Yeah, I mean, what do we
stick taps to the ones that you're I like that. Fuck, marry, kill. That's a good one.
The internet says 50. The internet says 52 live viewers, and we're at almost 3 hours.
Stick taps to you all for hanging out with us. Let's get you out of here. Let's try to finish this up in the final 7 minutes we have. Oh, boy. The Sharks start a 6-game homestand this Tuesday, starting against the Golden Knights. This is an ESPN game, by the way, so take with that what you will. Golden Knights currently 4-2. Hate to see that. Followed by the Maple Leafs, who, as we've clearly illustrated, don't know how to do reverse retro jerseys. That also includes a recent loss to Arizona that Dangle lost his mind about, although actually predicted. But Leafs coming into town on Thursday and then facing the Lightning next Saturday, which is a matinee game, people, just to let you know. 3-3 Lightning. Remember to check out our postgame cast following every one of those games. We got Landy, we got Dana, we got Puck Guy, we got Mark, we got Ian, and we have no idea who's going to host next Saturday. So that should be fun to watch. You can follow him at hockey_jerk. You can follow me at AJ_strong. Remember, of course, leave your take in the comment section of this YouTube video if you were not able to join us during the live stream. And if you got any topics that you want Jerk and me to drone on about for 3 hours, hit us up on Twitter at Pucknologists. Famous last words, good sir.
Famous last words. I was not expecting this to be a 3-hour show.
Nobody was.
So I shuffled my schedule so that dinner would be after the show.
Oh,
and then we went 3 hours.
Lo siento mucho.
So this one's gonna be we're gonna be pulling the parachute on this one, and
you're on the chat.
Yeah, I got it.
Cool.
But famous last words. You know what? I think looking at the group of Reverse Retro 2.0s, I found myself really down on it. But then looking at everything individually, I've kind of come around on a lot of them.
I'm also going to be interested to see what changes happen between now and a couple seasons from now when Adidas is no longer making. Whoever the next company is, and here's one to bake your noodle. How about we keep hearing reverse retro, right? How about forward future series? Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Dude, let's get nuts. Yeah, some of the Stadium Series jerseys, some of them, dude, like that Toronto one that I have, that white one with the blue accents. I love it. Again, how does Toronto do so well? Like the Centennial Classic, I don't understand how they do that well. I love the white, the Montreal one with what was that, the Centennial as well? It's got the embroidered silver.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
That's like my favorite Montreal jersey. So, let's forward future, man. I want to see that. So, with that, for those of you listening and watching, if you all went to the CUDA, either game or both, what was your takeaway? How do you like the new building? I love it. I think it's going to be cool once everything gets dialed in. Great vibe. And how great is it now that the CUDA have their own barn? Because I will say, a loud group, It's so great to not be in that huge cavernous SAP, and you can literally shout across the ice and they'll hear you.
Right.
So what is your take from Tech CU? What are you loving? What are you not digging so much? Is there anything that's working for you? Leave it in the comment section. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that more next time around because, like I said, they do have 3 games between now and our next show. So with that, remember, as always, I need to come up with another way to say as always. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on social media, and if you listen to the podcast on something like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, whatever, help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a review if possible. 5 stars. You know the deal. You can find the links to all our social media, podcast apps, and more in the show notes included. And as always, there I go again. Find everything on tealtownusa.com. We thank you so much for watching and hanging with us throughout this 3-hour excursion. But hey, you all were just juiced up because the Sharks won, right? And the CUDA won.
It's been so long, I forgot they played.
Dude, and who knows when that could happen again. So just enjoy it while it's here. Thanks again. Oh, did I lose it? I might have. We'll see you here next Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Good night, everybody. Oh, where is it? Where is it?